Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. This is really cool. Is this something that you asked Samantha to set up, or how did this even happen?
A listener sent us Paul's information, and what's interesting about this interview is that it's going on at the same time as our draft for our Guillotine League.
Yes.
It is currently going on, which is the longest draft I've ever been a part of. It's a 6-hour. Everybody gets 6 hours. It's a long draft.
I held my phone throughout the night.
So we started it 2 days ago, and at night, and then it's still going on. I'm on pick number 4.
Yeah.
I'm literally up right now, but I got 6 hours. I'm good. And I'm gonna tell everybody in the league. I'm not picking right now because I'm interviewing the inventor. I think you invented these leagues, right?
Well, in fairness, a guy on Twitter told me about this new way to play. It didn't have a name then, and it was just, him and his buddies had dreamed it up. And the concept was you start the season with 18 teams. There's no head-to-head, and instead at the end of every week, the lowest-scoring team gets cut, and all their players go to the waiver wire, and then pandemonium ensues because the waiver wire's got a whole team's draft on it. It's bonkers. And then, and I'm like, wow, this seems really cool. So I basically then just took the idea and ran with it. I'm like, okay, this needs a great name. Guys are getting chopped. What can we call this? Oh, let's call it the Guillotine League. And so then I've commercialized it. And so, yeah, I can't take credit for the original idea. I can take credit for popularizing it and trying to make a living on it. But yeah, and is this your first Guillotine League?
Yes.
Tom, Dan, is this your first one?
This is our first one.
Yeah.
We have a regular fantasy football league that me and Daniel have been in with our friends.
You've been there 20 years. I've been there 15, 10 years. It's forever.
And then we started hearing about these Guillotine leagues. Our buddy Matt was telling us hey, we should do one. We got our listeners involved, and
nice. It filled up pretty quick too. We had a bunch of guys in there.
And then you run and own the Guillotine. I'm sorry if I butchered this. Guillotine.com or
GuillotineLeagues.com.
GuillotineLeagues.com.
Guillotine.com is a
conflict.
What's weird about that one? If you're in the market for a guillotine, you don't operate the websites very well. You're a little more old school, I think.
And I'm sorry, I'm bad at interviewing Paul. I apologize. Paul Charchian from Guillotine Leagues is here.
I could have helped you, but I choose to not care.
So, Paul, what's interesting about your website too is you don't really need to get all your friends together to start a league. You can go to your website and you can jump on a league with a bunch of other strangers, and everybody can pay into it, and the website will distribute the money and basically be I guess you would still need a manager, but your website can handle the money and everything, right?
Yeah, so 2 ways to play. If you've got a bunch of friends, either between 8 and 18 friends who want to play, you can have a private league with just your friends. And then, our software will do all the administration. And then you handle all the pricing yourself. Or if you don't know 8 to 18 other people that want to play and you want to try a Guillotine League, we've got leagues at every reasonable price point that you might want to join at. And then we handle running the league and we handle all the pricing as well. So, it's your choice. However, just depending on how many people that you want to play with you.
So, Paul, here's where I'm going to ask you advice and how to win our Guillotine League, me and Daniel, because what's weird about this is I started researching it last night, and on your website you can have some strategies and tips, and this is a little bit different than regular fantasy.
It does give me anxiety because I have so much time between picks. I have ultimate picker's remorse.
Well,
you know what I mean? After I pick something, I have a lot of time to think and hate my pick.
Well, what is completely different about the Guillotine League is the fact that you don't play a person each week, and it's just you don't want to get the lowest score, and the lowest score gets chopped, and you're out. So then those players go to the waiver wire, like you explained, which it's never in my years of playing fantasy, there's some players you'll never have a chance to get. I mean, unless you trade.
And but even then, they'll lock them down. You know, like you're not able to, like some of your heavy hitters. They don't even allow you to.
So and then you got Fab, which is basically fantasy dollars that you spend on these players off the waiver wire, and it's a blind auction, so you don't know how much the other person is bidding, and so bidding too much is dangerous because you're going to waste all your money, and bidding too little, you miss out the chance to get your player. So since you are, I'm going to call you king of guillotine leagues, and I'm sure you've thought about this a lot.
You're Gary Guillotine.
So
is that like Gary Gygax?
I have no idea.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
okay,
no idea.
So when it comes to bidding, I'm like, okay, let's say the first week happens and we get a team that's eliminated, right? And they have like Christian McCaffrey, or they have let's say a Mahomes, or someone that you would never have a chance.
Happen.
And then through bad luck, their team got eliminated. What would your advice be about what to bid for a Mahomes on week number 1, or someone, if let's say your quarterback is weak and you're like, if I get Mahomes, my team is stacked. I mean, is there a strategy just bidding all your fab that first week?
Yeah, like what is the perceived value?
Right. So you're new to this, Tom and Dan. And so the temptation is going to be, you've never experienced a situation where on the waiver wire, here comes an entire roster of players. And that means the team that drafted Kyler Murray and Austin Eckler and Justin Jefferson and Julio Jones and Najee Harris and
wide receiver ones, running back ones, QB ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So these guys hit the waiver wire and you're like, oh my God, this is nuts. I could be, I can have access to all these great players. But remember, there's 18 teams that are starting this thing. The odds of you getting cut early are very low. Week 1, you have like a 6% chance of getting cut. So you don't have to spend all your money early. And as the weeks go by, the teams are getting cut are better and better and better and better. So you don't want to push all your chips in too early, because you really want to have some money left for November, when the teams that are getting cut have been consolidating players and getting better and better and better. And the teams getting cut in November are insane. And if you're alive, in after like Thanksgiving into December, you're going to have a crazy awesome roster if you've got some of your budget left. So now if you're really in a bind, like, you have a Cam Akers like situation, you drafted, whoever, Derrick Henry, and God forbid he gets an ACL or an Achilles or something and he's done. Well, then you're going to have to put in a bunch of money. But mostly if you can, you want to try to conserve some money for later in the season.
What I do kind of like it is you have money, so it does give you an option. Because last year, with me, week 3? Like I had 4 of my starters were out for the season.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have the option to make any trades. Yeah. I had nothing to trade. I didn't have any money fab so I had to sit there and just I just played vicariously through your team, because my team was pretty garbage.
Yeah, and Dan, that's part of the beauty of the Guillotine League, is you can rebound from the catastrophic injuries in a way that you never can in a regular league, because you do have constant access to good players.
Yeah.
And it's one of the great things. It's less random, right? The 4 players you lost, totally random. Like if you'd have drafted Michael Thomas and Christian McCaffrey on your roster, and I had a team with both of those guys, they had been perfectly healthy their entire careers. You were not taking any real known risk by drafting those guys last year. They go belly up. But in a Guillotine League, you've got you can replace those guys. You're going to have to spend money to replace them, but you have the option. You can remain competitive. We're in a traditional league. You lose those 2 guys and your season's over.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
And it's really important too, I believe Wednesdays and Thursdays are, the draft day where you can pick
the waiver wire.
The waiver wire
days. Those days. Yeah.
And so it's important that that everybody in the league, this is one of these leagues where it's not so much a set and forget it. You have to be involved into waiver wire bidding, and you have to pay attention. So I feel like this is one step beyond regular fantasy, and the fact that in regular fantasy you do too, but this is almost quintessential to even having a chance. Because if you're not paying attention and you're slow to get on that waiver wires, it seems like there's no chance you're going to win this league.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, you say it like it's a bad thing, but trust me, everybody wants to participate. Yeah. Right? Because here's Josh Allen and Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen and Saquon Barkley and George Kittle just hit the waiver wire. Who doesn't want a part of that?
Right.
So, it becomes, usually your waiver wire is grinding on a fourth string running back when there's an injury to the starter. And maybe if things work out just right, he'll get some playing time. You don't have to do that. You can, but you don't have to in a Guillotine League. It's so the waiver wire is so fun because of the quality of players.
I also like the fact I like someone's entire dreams getting dashed the first week because
right. Is there any concession for that at all, or when that happens, you're just out, right? And that's it. Yeah. And you paid your deal, and good day, sir.
You're out.
Yeah.
It's ruthless. And see, and part of the beauty, and you're going to find this out, Tom, Dan, when you're in the Guillotine League and it's like the playoffs, where if you have one bad week, you're out. If you have one loss, you're out. And you wait till you see the anxiety. It's, and I say it sounds like a bad thing, but you're going to be on pins and needles on Monday night when you need TJ Hawkinson. Well, the Lions never play on Monday night, so it's a bad example.
Right.
Hypothetically, TJ Hawkinson needs, like 4 catches and 60 yards, or you're going to get cut and your season is over.
Yeah.
And it's just so much pins and needles and so much anxiety, and that part is just great. And we love that about the Guillotine League and you touched on something, pivoting for just a second, Tom, you touched on something really important at the outset. You're not playing to win. And this is totally different than every other fantasy league. You're playing not to lose. In the Guillotine League, you just don't finish last, right? In week 1, there's 18 teams. Just don't be 18th. And the next week, don't be 17th. And it's a totally different way of building your roster. And you want consistent performers every week. Players that don't do the roller coaster. So you have 3, if you got 3 players that all do the roller coaster at the bottom, they all valley out at the same week, that's how you get cut. So that's what you're looking to avoid.
That's what you and I were talking about.
And so you bring up a good point, because in traditional fantasy, a lot of times you draft rookies to get better at the later parts of the year. You draft some players that have like extreme high ceiling games to like win you that week and stuff, but could have stinkers too, and you're willing to accept that because you're like, it's a long season, but this is not a long season. Like you get a bunch of everybody in fantasy has that bad week, and it's like that bad week and you're out. You're not coming back, and you're done, and that's it. And it's like in normal fantasy, like you could win 4-6 games or whatever, still be in the playoffs. The whole point is just to make the playoffs. This is like, you need to just consistently not be at the bottom, and that's a different strategy. And like I'll tell you, my first 3 picks, I took Kyler Murray. I took him earlier than I would have in normal fantasy, because I believe that team has good players this year, and they're going to be scoring a lot of points. And I think Kyler Murray is going to be consistent and scoring a lot of points.
Looking for consistency.
And and then I just want a quarterback that and in normal fantasy I would take a Tannehill, because I'm like, well, I can get him way later in the rounds, but he's going to be a guy that could have bad weeks and score.
But he'll have a couple big huge
swing games and stuff. But in this particular Guillotine League, I want the consistency of a Kyler Murray that but I took him high than I would normally.
Yeah.
So I like how
let's talk about that strategy for just a second and relative to Kyler Murray. So where Kyler Murray is pretty valuable is he can run and pass, and there are other rushing quarterbacks who can't pass. And when those guys don't run because the team plays and schemes to stop their running, and then they don't pass, you get killed. But Kyler Murray can do both, and that's why he is a valuable asset in a Guillotine League, as opposed to like Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, we know he can run. We have no idea if he can pass. And if he can't pass and he doesn't run, you get 3 points out of your quarterback, and now you're looking to get chopped. Kyler Murray doesn't have that problem because he can do both. And that does give you a little bit of safety. So even if he has a bad passing game, his rushing game may bail him out. Even if he has a bad rushing game, his passing may bail him out. And so that's why Kyler Murray in particular and Josh Allen, mobile quarterbacks who can do both are really valuable here.
So, Paul, just to talk to you a little bit about the business side of the guillotineleagues.com, I noticed that, there are certain states that are exempt, I guess, because of probably the rules of that particular state and gambling and fantasy football. Fantasy football lies on the kind of the outskirts of gambling because you can go on your DraftKings and your FanDuels normally and in any state, but how does that work? I know that you're limited to there are some states that you can't use. How does that work?
Yeah. So unfortunately, about half of the states have got some kind of regulation that makes it difficult to do business in those states and sometimes impossible to do business in those states. And depending on the regulatory hurdles, you may or may not be able to play fantasy in the state that you're in. And the regulatory hurdles in many cases are not trivial. There are states like Pennsylvania that needs a $50,000 annual payment to have a fantasy company in Pennsylvania. $50,000. We're trying to make like $20 a league. So you need like 100,000 leagues, or 10,000 leagues, 1,000 leagues. So it gets to be really, really expensive in some states. So that's why and many states conflate sports gambling and fantasy, and they treat a lot of fantasy companies like we are Caesars, and we have massive regulatory burdens that really are designed more for a casino than a small fantasy operator, unfortunately. So our guillotine leagues are available about half of the states. If it's not the state you're in, you can find a co-owner who is in an approved state, and you can co-own a team. But yeah, that's it's one of the battles that we have behind the scenes, is trying to work with states and regulators and trying to afford to do business in every state. So
Florida is one of those states that you can play this.
Yes,
so
thankfully.
Check out guillotineleagues.com. Like I said, me and Daniel and Matt and some of our BDMs are on EJ.
I like it.
Now, Paul, you mentioned the gambling. I've talked about this all the time. I'm a big fan of gambling, which I've now turned, I want to call it playing the sports market, because that's more of what I'm trying to do than gamble. And I feel like the word gamble is associated because of movies and stuff.
You're
of
a sports investor.
A degenerate gambling away his kids' college education or something like that, which is ridiculous, because 99% of people that gamble on sports, I feel like, around the country, especially just a regular average Joe, is $20, $50 here, or like they got $100 in their fantasy league, or they're $50 in their guillotine league. And
I think most people run between 20 and 50, right?
And if you invest like a small amount of money, betting $20 on a game or $10 will make it 10 times more entertaining to you. It's like you're paying $10 for a
entertainment.
Great entertainment. It's like, that's cheap. And that's my argument, and that's why I'm a proponent to gambling, and because you don't have
do it
to
like Europe, man.
You could just put $20 or be in a guillotine league or be in any other fantasy league, and it just becomes way more entertaining if you got any skin in the game. Psychologically, it's way more entertaining. So I don't know if you feel the same way, obviously.
Life is more fun with money on the line.
Yeah. In any sort.
That's the reality. Now, I'm not in any way downplaying gambling addiction, which is a real thing. Right? That it's a 99% to 1% thing, and we do want to make sure that the 1% have got the tools and information and help that they need. But you can't outlaw something that 99% of the people want to do to protect 1%. And we sell alcohol. Largely now, half the states in the U.S. sell marijuana. Some people abuse those, but many people do not, and they want to do that. So when you try to outlaw it, you just create a black market, like sports gambling has always been, which is an unsafe gambling process. And there are still people getting addicted, and they have, your bookies aren't helping you with your gambling addiction. but legitimate, regulated, licensed gambling operations have all kinds of tools to help people. And it's it's the safest, best way to go for sports gambling.
And if you truly like gambling and understand how to do it correctly, then you're not going to be gambling like an addict, because like even if you're addicted to gambling, if you start gambling 2% of what your bankroll is,
responsibly,
and then gambling the correct way, you can. Let's say you lose a couple $100 a season or whatever, fine. Or if you break even, that's better than a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you can understand how to do it properly and how to do it responsibly, like you said, there are the addicts out there, but there's addicts for everything. I mean, there's people that go to Walmart and buy as much garbage as possible and fill it full of their house. And
he's talking about my house.
No, I'm just like they're hoarders.
My house is pretty great.
I mean, like they limit. You can't buy this much newspapers. You're going to stack your house full. Like, of course, there's people that have problems. And those people should seek help, and their friends and family should be like, "Hey, you should not do this." It's like, but to treat everybody like, "Hey, you're going to lose your house or lose all your money doing this," is ridiculous.
But it has that stigma.
To
some people.
Well,
no, it does.
Paul,
absolutely.
This is great. I love new games, and
I didn't think there was going to be one that comes around, because normally when somebody tells me about a new version of, like, let's say, fantasy football, I'm like, I'll dig into it a little bit, and I'm like, that's not good. This one is good.
Now,
this one's fun.
I'll tell you the truth, Paul.
Crazy.
If I lose week 1, I will be screaming, F this Guillotine League. I hate it. Now, we'll play again next year because by that time, it'll wear off my disappointment. But I am going to laugh.
Yeah, the week 1 knockout is really, really brutal. You don't even get to have the fun of the waiver wire 1 week.
Yeah,
that's the worst possible scenario. But again, you have a 94% chance of it not being you.
Yeah. But it's going to be one.
You don't know our luck is real bad.
Well, Paul, again, tell everybody where to find Guillotine Leagues and how to be involved.
GuillotineLeagues.com. We've got private leagues, we've got public leagues, contests. We've got a big high stakes league called Super Chop as well, and it's super fun. You can get my player rankings there for free as well, both guillotine style and regular fantasy rankings as well, and you can learn more there, GuillotineLeagues.com.
Awesome.
Right.
Paul, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And,
absolutely.
And maybe I'll have you on next year, and we'll talk a little more football.
And we'll tell you what happens.
Well, yeah, exactly. I want to know when you guys get knocked out.
Okay, we'll let you know.
Sam, I'm counting on you. Let me know when
will.
Tom and Dan get knocked out of this thing.
We'll definitely let you know. Hey, thanks for the time and for being so cool, man. Appreciate the help.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, care. Paul. See you. He's a nice man.
Yeah, he is. More energetic and ready for the interview than
absolutely.
We
He's professional.
We have our next guest ready to go, so let's take a break, and we'll be welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha's here. Butler's here. This is a first, my friend.
It is a first, and also I'm not surprised because after reading about Darren Brand and his career, he is a grinder. He's a hustler. He works all the time, and it seems like this guy is.
He adheres to the rules that we like, which are work really hard and don't be a dickhead.
Yeah. And so he is at the barbershop and still doing an interview.
Look at him, Sam. He's getting all pretty for us.
Because I believe most other comedians would be like, I'm at the barbershop. I'm busy. I'm not going to do this. Right. Darren's like, nope, I'm still doing it. I'll do it while I get my haircut. He's going to be at the Improv, 2 shows Friday night, 2 shows Saturday night, theimprovorlando.com. Darren Brand is with us on Zoom. How you doing, Darren?
I'm good, man. Blessed to be here. Blessed to kick it with y'all. What's happening?
Not much. Now, is this something you're like, screw it, I'm going to do my media when I'm
free.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, everything may not match up at the perfect time, but if the opportunity presents itself, you got to take it. I want everybody in Orlando to come out. I want sold out shows. If I want that to happen, I got to put the work in, whether I'm getting the locks twisted or shape up or not. If y'all call me, we're going to do it. We got to make it happen.
That's true.
Well, Darren, how many other inspiring comedians and other entertainers you see that don't put the work in, and I'm sure because you're a guy that is a grinder, that you look at them and you're like, man, you're not going to succeed with that kind of work ethic?
You see it every day. I mean, this is the new era. A lot of people want quick success. A lot of people want their handout. They want to be brought up with you without any of the work. Or, I've been doing stand-up for 12 years, man. Like, I drove 10 hours to New York for my Wild 'N Out audition. I drove 10 hours for a 15-minute audition. Like, if you're not putting in the work, like, there's no way you can expect me to respect you. One of the journey I've had, this wasn't overnight. This is a decade in the making.
Yeah. And that's what people don't see, though, right, Darren? It's like they see your success and they see like, oh, Darren's got 500,000 Instagram followers, and but they don't see the 12 years of grind
they
you
don't
put
see
in.
you in the barbershop doing it. That's what they don't see.
Well, we see it, Darren.
We see it, and our listeners see it, and we appreciate
it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where we was driving 6-7 hours just to do a 5-minute guest spot in Atlanta, or driving to DC for a show. Like, you have to put that work in. And at the end of the day, I love making people laugh. Being a comedian, you're a healer. You know what I'm saying? You're asking people to spend their time and their money and trusting you to make them feel better. And I don't ever want to lose the essence of that. I want to touch people with comedy. It's not about the sold out shows. The money, if you love what you do, all the money, everything will come. Just make sure you love what you do.
Yeah.
Well, how do you break the stereotype of loving marijuana, but also being crazy energetic, working all the time, right? Because there's a conundrum. There's a bit of a conundrum there, right?
Yeah.
Right. As everybody know, I indulge very, very healthy in cannabis.
We do too.
Helps out with. Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great plant. Such a great plant. Such a vitamin. For me, because I love performing so much, it doesn't matter how high I get. The adrenaline kicks in.
That's cool.
Every time. Now, as soon as I get off stage, oh Lord, it hit me. Anybody got a burger, a snack, water, something? But the adrenaline always wins every time.
That's funny, man.
Darren, I read an interview with you, and I believe maybe 3 seasons in, you did 6 seasons with Wild 'N Out, and the 3 in, they made you re-audition, I believe, and
man,
and in the quote you said it made me learn a lot about the entertainment industry, and I'm curious to see like what that was.
Wow,
and that
made you
experience.
re-audition.
Yeah, man. I made it my first season 7, season 8, and then when it was time for season 9, that's when the world kind of took social media, where it really wasn't. You had to have some type of talent, but they was really looking at numbers. So if you had 1 million followers, if you had 1 million followers and you can at least perform decent, you almost had a sure in into Wild 'N Out, because you see things started to drift. It used to be a show that you get on and you could break out, but now they want you already established. So they don't have to turn you into somebody.
I've
you should
never
already
heard
be
that.
somebody.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that way. It's very, very interesting you would say that, because that kind of clears up a lot of things now. When you start seeing people pulling for auditions and stuff like that, it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to do
America's
less work.
Got Talent is doing that now.
Yeah, well,
they're doing less work on the back end. That's some lazy stuff.
It's also free marketing for them, because
it's free marketing.
Yeah.
If you cast 7 cast members, they all have 2 million followers, and they all post the show. That you don't have to put so much on the network to do it, because they're doing it. You know what I mean? And now it's almost like you better promote the show if you want episodes. You know what I'm saying? So once I saw that happen, and I've never been a committed to social media guy, because I do stand up in real life and I love stand up. But when I had to audition again, and I'm sitting here like, hey, where's my contract? Oh, we're sure you'll be fine. We just want to make sure, prove that you still want to be here. And I was like, what you mean? This show changed my life. And then that's when I realized, like, the entertainment is very similar to sports. It's all about what you can do for me right now.
Yeah. And it's cutthroat, man. It's
and for somebody like me, and I don't know if you're like that, but I'll speak for me. Tom, you know this. I'm a very sensitive person. And in the instances like that, where I do not excel, it is very hard for me. If I'd been you, they asked me to audition again, I'd be like, nah, I can't do that. And I'm taking this real personal, and this is going to mess me up real bad now. Now I'm all messed up.
That mental battle is real. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, phenomenal show, but there are certain things on that show that's going to happen. There are certain cast members The show is shot 2 hours. It's cut to 20 minutes. You know Nick is going to get a moment. He's the host. You know the guest is going to get a moment. DC, Chico, Carlos, Justina, Conceited, Hitman, Charlie Clips. And you got to hope that your joke gets aired in between all of those guys and girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you'll shoot an episode, oh, I killed it. And then it comes out and none of your joke airs. So it's a mental battle the entire time.
That's interesting, man.
Also, Darren,
that is, man, when you put it like that, that's hard.
How do you feel about okay, because this is interesting when you're talking about like them casting people
We're getting real serious
with the most amount of followers, because in my experience, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, like you'll see people on social media that have insane followings, but the content, to me at least, and it's all subjective, like everything, like comedy's subjective, and like
where you don't feel like the content justifies the amount of followers.
Where I'm like, it seems like the content seems like it's not creative, it's not really funny to me. I guess it's all subjective, but it's like, and maybe they got a lot of followers because they're catering to people that don't really care, or like that just want something dumb to look at for 5 seconds and then scroll on or whatever. Like, so it seems like people's follower numbers are never synonymous with their talent and how good they are, and then
that is true.
And then that could lead to people putting people with the huge followers numbers on the air, but leaving out the actual talented people that don't have the same following.
Right.
And that's the battle today. That's the battle today. Like, you really have to love what you do and believe in it, because if you let all this other distractions get in your head, it'll mess you up, man. Like, for a long time, I've always been compared to 85 and, where's your million followers at? Man, I've been shadow banned forever. I smoke weed on my Instagram. I do a lot of things, and they probably block a lot of that.
Yeah.
And, I'm pretty sure if y'all fans of comedy, you've seen me, I'm great at stand-up. So, but I'm just now getting to where I can get weekends. So I've had to watch for the past 2 years, my peers come through Tampa, come through Orlando, come through Miami. And I'm like, I'm here too, guys. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you be patient, man, and it's easier said than done, but you got to stay positive and you got to believe, and it's going to happen eventually. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen in 5 months, 5 years, but if you truly believe, it's going to happen.
Darren, have you messed around with because at this point in time,
this could go anywhere. What are you going to ask?
Well, with your social media following, I mean, with you have over 500,000 followers on Instagram, and that is
that's power.
I mean, you're talking about people with millions, but nowadays things are so segmented. 500,000 is a huge number.
Very, very valuable.
Right.
And then you can monetize that, and now you can start monetizing your social media. And I mean, we make a living off our podcast. That we don't work for anybody. It's just we monetize our own content now, and a lot of people are doing that. And a lot of people, comedians, are monetizing their podcast and not even doing as much stand-up because they're making more money doing their podcast. So a
lot of people are doing that.
Have you messed around with monetizing your social media following? Because it's huge.
Yes, I do it, but man, I really love stand-up. Right. Like, I like nothing compared. Okay, going viral, cool. You get your little $100 or whatever you got monetized for. That's dope, or whatever you worked out. But making people laugh in real life, seeing people shaking and crying and wiping their face, and nothing compares to that, man. Yeah. I'm a real comedian. Like, the viral shit is cool, but I mean, I've had people come to my shows. Hey, man, my mother died last week. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I had cancer 6 months ago. This is my first outing. Thank you. Nothing compares to that. No, you can't compare a viral paycheck to someone saying they're overcoming cancer and thank you for healing them.
Right. It's an energy exchange, not to sound like some hippie or something, but
that's exactly what it is.
Like with live music, like when you see a live band, when you see a guy really getting down on bass, or a drummer or something, like when you see that, he's putting energy in and it's hitting you, and that is real energy exchange right there.
It's the same thing when you go to a concert. When you hear the song, you love it, but when you watch your artist perform it, and he's looking in your area, that's an energy exchange. You can't explain that.
Yeah, man.
Also, the engagement is so much more higher. Obviously, when they're coming to a show, they're leaving their house. Like, to follow someone on social media is a click on your phone. It's you know what I'm saying? And like,
think about going to see him at the Orlando Improv this weekend. That is more special than it's ever been because it got taken away last year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so going to see you, like, talk about an energy. There are going to be some people that walk in there, maybe that's their first night out.
Well, yeah. It's an experience, a memory. You're building a following.
And it's more valuable now than ever because we know what it's like to lose it.
Exactly. And think about it. Like, you're asking someone to not only spend their money, but their time to come see you in hopes that I do a good job to heal them and whatever they're going through.
Yeah, no, I know. And going back to like your following and your engagement, and I'm sure you realize this, like your following can be whatever. I mean, we've seen it with Instagram models and things like people have millions of followers and they can't sell they can't sell 5 t-shirts for something. Like they have no engagement.
I remember that story,
And so if your followers, the people that follow your comedy are engaged and like, come out to shows and F with what you do and that's where the value goes or is and that's the staying power of creating an audience, and there's a lot of false audiences out there that people they have no engagement.
You can't get them to come to your shows, or just think about the people who have all these followers and they sell these shows out. They can only do 15 minutes on stage.
Yeah,
that's the other option.
We've seen that.
You done charge $40 and you on stage for 15 minutes. Your opener did an hour, and the people in the crowd's like, "Oh, this ain't it."
Yeah.
So you better damn sure be able to do it in real life if you're gonna call yourself a comedian.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, Darren, where can people find everything that you do? Plug all your social media, and again, theimprovorlando.com for tickets. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. Go see Darren before it sells out. So
and all over the YouTube, you can find multiple.
Absolutely, man. I've been on Wild 'N Out 7 seasons. Basic the Bougie is one of the top 5 YouTube shows in the past 2 years. We've won a Webby off of it.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I have my own cannabis strand in Vegas, Big Baby Bud. I'm in 5 dispensaries. If you enjoy smoking, if you enjoy laughing, if you enjoy life, come see me live. Like, Wild 'N Out doesn't display a third of my talent at all. You know what I'm saying? So come see the real thing. And I appreciate all the fans and the love. But if you're in Orlando, Tampa, Daytona, anywhere within that hour radius, come support me, man. I'm going to make your day and your weekend better.
Hey, and thanks for your positivity and your energy today, man. We needed that. It was good talking to you, and I hope your haircut goes exceptional.
Oh yeah, for the ladies, I plan on coming off the plane, no shirt.
There you go. Well, take care, man. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Be good, man. Take care.
Right.
That's fun. He's a cool dude. He put a picture of himself on the old Instagrams, shirtless. He's like, "This is my mood, Orlando. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm coming in hot." It's becoming a stereotype with black comedians, and I like it. The black comedians that are on our show, this is like one of maybe 9 different humans now that we've been inspired by. We talk to them, and then I hear how they work, how they hustle, how they grind, and then their positivity. It's seemingly a stereotype within the black community. Right? I'm right.
Well, just
how
more
many
often than
hard,
not.
stay humble.
Who is very much like this, and we've had him in here, was Chico when we had him in.
They're buddies. Yeah.
But you could feel that same type of really genuine positive, it's authentic positivity. It's real.
Yeah.
It's not BS. He's not trying to trick himself into loving life or liking the work. He likes the work. It's real.
I mean, as much as this is a cliche and everybody's tired of hearing it, but it all about working hard That's
God, I
that-
don't want to.
I know. It sucks too.
It works
because,
for everything too. It works for like fitness, right?
Yeah.
Exercise,
anything.
Yeah, it works for
No,
Work
everything.
hard on one thing.
Yeah. Like, there's no get rich quick. I mean,
No.
sometimes there is, but that's an anomaly. You're not
Well, he
going to.
basically said no.
Yeah,
I mean, how long's he been doing stand up? 12, 13 years. He said no.
Yeah, it's there's just no easy way about it. If you put in the grind, that talent does help a lot. But
Yeah, Christine's right in the Twitch chat room. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. The ending of that interview, when you hear Darren talk about like, come see me, and she's like,
make your weekend better.
She was like,
yeah.
that was a good pitch. Yeah, but you could tell what he was saying was going to happen. And he is not lying to you.
Yeah.
He will put on a great show. He's very. I like this confidence. I don't have that. So when I see that in other people, I admire it so much, man.
he mentioned in some interview that I was reading about he's got a ability to, when he walks into the room, people pay attention, and like it's like an energy thing.
Yeah, he
for
does.
him.
You can feel it.
And that's I don't have that either. I would rather fly underneath the radar. Like I would rather walk into a room and stand in the corner and observe. I do not want to be the center of
That
attention.
sounds creepy.
I know.
I'd like to walk into the room and hide in the corner and just observe.
Like I don't want
But
to
I
be
know what you mean. Yeah, I
the center of attention, the guy that
it would make you uncomfortable.
I'll do that.
Weird from a guy who used to dress up as a bear.
I know.
No, I know. I used to be he was the walking, conundrum.
Look at me, yeah.
No, it was always weird. I was like, you hate this. Why are you doing this?
He thought it was his only way in, I think.
Yeah. This goes
It
to hard
worked.
work. It's
It
like
worked.
this is
He
my way
oh
to
my
get.
God, this is what you talk about with your sons. You were forcing yourself to do something you did not like to prove that you were grit. You could make grit and work hard.
Also, that was the angle. I was like, the wacky morning show with 18 people on it. They
gotta set
need
myself
stunt
apart,
guys.
yeah.
I can do this. I could be the character, the goofy bear.
It was brilliant. He can set himself apart.
I'll do this for 10 years.
Yeah, stop. You didn't need to say that
A
part.
clown.
Well, you could have done it 20.
Could have went to clown college and got it over with.
You could have done it for 20 like me, and I don't even have any bear suits.
That's honestly
Nothing to show for it.
I was thinking about this the other day, not to get super weirdo deep.
Do it. I like we have this new thing going on now where we get comedians on the line and then we just talk about hard work and how they do. And there was zero jokes in that.
No.
But I like that. I like that. That's a real interview.
Yeah.
But what's interesting
Get deep, bud.
is like
Get deep, bud.
even if we ever got to a place, which I doubt, it would be like we were making super money or like
Super money.
like an insane amount
Super money.
of money, like some where you're able to buy tour buses or Busey, you're buying
Like
some,
Rogan money.
Yeah, not even that. I'm just saying like money where you're just wasting it. Like you have in a lot of money.
We would have a lot of money if we didn't waste our money.
That's true.
That's true.
See?
But
Write that down.
I would never feel ashamed.
I see what you're
because
saying. Yes.
And I feel like
You feel like your workload justifies the amount that you get?
not only that, but also our audience saw what we did to get to there because they
Started from the bottom.
Right.
Well, they watched our whole
You can
careers,
track
right?
it, yeah.
It's like this guy was like some of our listeners listened to me when I was an intern and listened to you when
Yeah.
you were a lowly producer.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Lowly.
I mean that.
No, he's right.
He was probably when I listened to that morning show when Daniel was on it at like in 2002.
Norm said he started
1,
listening to me in 3rd grade.
like.
Norm, I'm your dad.
Daniel was
I'm
like
your real dad, Norm.
8 positions down on the ladder, right? Like
Oh yeah. Like he everything he's saying.
you
is
started
absolutely correct.
You started interning for old what's his
Ed
face,
Till,
Ed
dude.
Till, and then radio.
Yes.
Like that was your journey in entertainment, and now you're here, right?
Yes.
And it's not, I don't think
It's
what we have
way
is
different.
very impressive. But people, I've seen people in like BDMs are like, oh Tom, well you're rich, so you don't know about. And then I never feel bad about it because I'm like, first, I'm not rich. I'm rich compared to what I was when I was super poor.
Oh, I hate
But-
even the term rich. You're like, you're rich. No,
That's
you know
subjective,
what
too.
rich is, and we're not that.
That's subjective too. But anyway,
You know what it is.
But I would, if I was 20-year-old Tom Van, I would look at 38-year-old Tom Van and be like, that guy's rich. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
yeah.
Yeah.
but then
Comparatively, sure.
but anyway. I just never feel
it's the same
bad
way
about
I
it.
look at pictures now, and I'm like, I'm not fat, but I look at pictures of me from 20 years ago. I'm like, whoa, look how good I look.
And that's the thing. Like, it's like if you've worked your way up, like, and literally just did all these things to get where you are, and no one gave anything to you. I feel like you should celebrate that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And no one should make you feel bad about it. And
Who hurt you, bro?
no.
I like what he's saying.
I want to like.
You want to brag about all your money?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes like if
Okay.
Little Wayne does it,
All right, so
I want to do it.
So going back
All
to
right.
like,
Tom Wayne.
but you're not that guy, Tom Wayne. You're not that guy though. You're not the type of guy to do that. You'll never be the
I
type
want
of guy to do
to,
that.
but everybody said don't. You shut
You're
up.
not the type of guy to put, write goat in crystals on your hoodies. You know what I mean? You're not that guy.
Well,
You'll
I'm not
never
the-
be that guy.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not the greatest of any time.
No,
of anything.
but you're the greatest business manager of T&D Media. You're the only business manager of T&D Media.
Like, you make the best smoothies at the Baldwin Park Smoothie King.
Hey, but at least you're the best at something.
Yeah, like, all right. I mean, you couldn't even say
name
in Orlando.
one person that does.
Just say
Name
this-
one person that does what you do better.
What, like, exactly?
Yes.
I don't even know what
you
this
do.
is. Well,
Oh.
Dan Cummins makes more money.
Yeah, but he has a team of people. I think he's
Yeah.
got like 10 people working for him now. I
At
could be
least.
wrong,
I
but
think he's in.
I mean, we barely have 3.
yeah. Anyway, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
I don't know. It sounds like you're having a midlife crisis, bro.
No,
we need to
no.
get you a convertible stat.
I don't know how to instill into my sons, and I'm not doing it correctly. I'm failing at this. That work ethic, or if it's just going to be in there or not, who knows?
No, Maisie doesn't have it. She gives up very easily. She'll be like, I'm going to draw a circle. And then she'll start it, and it's wrong. And she'll be like, this is terrible.
Oh,
I
she's a
quit.
perfectionist.
Yeah, she's like, I'm out. You know, and I'm like,
that
oh,
life.
God.
But
here we
I
go.
never had this affinity for work when I was younger either. So this came later in life. Like when I was in my 20s, I didn't want to work this hard.
I think
but
if
now I
I-
want to work hard, and I like it, and I'm
Well,
obsessed.
literally, your life and your family depends on it.
Yeah, well, but my dad was really
Yeah, but I could
good.
probably work less.
Well, I think you do it. I think your sons are probably seeing it, and I'm sure you talk about these type of things with Crystal, and they absorb it. I remember my father having discussions with my mom about how hard he worked, and her like feeling like, oh, look how, like they would make a point to say, like, your father works very hard. Things like
Right.
that to give it value in my brain, right?
Yeah.
And that worked. It worked, and you're doing it now. You don't think you're doing it, but you're doing it now. And Tommy and Max will see how hard you work, and that's a good thing. That is a positive thing. This may not be a funny answer that you want.
Do I need to show them? Like maybe
Ask them and see what they say. Like, ask them and be like,
I
do you
remember-
think Daddy works hard? I can ask Maisie the same question, too. We can record it and get hilarity.
I'm sure they don't at this age because they just don't understand everything behind running a business.
Yeah.
They just think you guys sit here and make jokes.
No, I know, and it's
They get on here and start screaming into the microphone. They don't think it's work.
I've seen it.
You're right.
You're right.
And Maisie called Travis this morning Mr. Butt, which made me laugh. She's like, Travis, who's Travis? I go, Mr. Butler. She goes, Mr. Butt. She bullied him. She bullies everyone.
Anyway, it's cool to see. And I like interviewing anybody that's just a grinder.
Man,
and,
I wish I had time to go see Darren this weekend.
I kind of want to see him, too.
You guys go see him and wear your Tom and Dan shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's. I think. Although I would like to interview some people that have achieved a lot with very little work. Just to go, because that's funny. It's like, of course,
fund.
well, not given. I'm just saying, like
instant success.
they just
overnight
stumbled.
success.
Yeah, they just stumbled upon something.
Something went viral.
Okay, Norm in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomandDanLive, hates it when you use the term grinder.
He does. He's brought it up multiple times.
Because Grindr, I believe, is a gay sex app, right?
Yeah, it's like Tinder.
Yeah, but for gay dudes.
or it could be a
And
sub.
girls.
Yeah, but he doesn't like that. Why don't you say hustler? But although when I say hustler, sometimes I feel like
the magazine,
or it's racial in some weird. It feels racist to say.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm a hustler, baby. It sounds like you're putting it in like the hood or something. I'm you can't say hood.
Yeah. Like I would say someone's a hustler,
and then immediately you put a pimp hat on.
Yeah.
Only if they're wearing a big purple pimp hat.
So then I say grinder, or like then you say
gay.
You say workaholic.
Oh, you can't say that. Then it's
what about hard worker?
Then he's a frizzy-haired guy with a mustache. That's a workaholic.
Too baby.
Too baby.
You're a very hard worker, sir. Like it's stupid.
Hard work. Yeah, I don't like hard workers.
So that's
outvoted.
Believe me, I've gone through all the.
Grinder's wrong. Hustler, we determined, sounds a little racist.
Yeah. Like because then you say workaholic, it sounds negative.
Does.
You're an alcoholic, like you're addicted to work and
a
to
go-getter.
That's nerdy.
That's like some nerd mom
hard
crap.
worker and go-getter is nerdy.
Yeah.
So that's why I say grinder. I believe
Don't
me.
like it.
You're a jack of all trades. No, that doesn't even mean that.
Anyway,
jack of all trades means you know a lot about a lot of
little about a lot.
Little about a lot.
Yeah. All right.
You got a sticky mouth.
Yeah,
what did you
do? Take a sip.
Yeah, my God, why you got a sticky mouth?
Too much caffeine.
Tommy wet mouth.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Let's talk. What are we talking about?
Olympics.
Let's dig into the old Olympics.
Man, it seems like
nail in the coffin for the Olympics.
No, I mean it'll continue to happen. It just for whatever reason I feel like people are less interested.
I have a skewed perspective. My wife watches it 24/7.
Yeah.
So I really, if I just go on what I see in my household, people are Olympic craze-mo.
It just seems like not that many people are excited or talking about it. I mean, I'm going just by like BDM page and maybe my little bubble. But it's not like
ratings are definitely down.
Yeah,
they're the lowest they've ever been, I think.
There's so many other things to watch and things to grab people's attention that is like they're
and people kind of turned against the Olympics in the last few years too, just because of the treatment of both the athletes and the people that have to build these stadiums. And
is it marred? Yeah, because it's just like it's so big.
It's a corporate money grab on stuff. People are kind of over it.
And then like you add in all those gymnastic weirdo doctor.
Oh yeah,
you add all that, and it's like we got to start fresh with something new, totally.
Also,
maybe.
It just doesn't seem like people care that much if like America wins the butterfly swimming competition. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
People are like, it's kind of like me. Like whoever wins it, I'm like, I'm happy for that young person that trained so hard to win that. Like I'm like, oh no. Yugoslavia won.
Also, it's just a weird concept of like these very few athletes are supposed to represent my country. Like they're way better than everybody in our country. Like they're better people, better athletes. I see the Chunguses around here. They don't represent America.
It is the blind. What is it called? Nationalism. Patriotism that people used to have. I think is waning, or people are like seeing through the BS of it, or whatever. They're just like, whatever. Anyway. So I was looking at some stories, and some Canadian swimmer put a tweet out basically saying, like, I want to thank the teacher in high school that told me to stop swimming and focus on school because swimming wouldn't get me anywhere. And she's like the most decorated Canadian swimmer right now. And this happens all the time where it's like someone.
Well, what happens after the Olympics?
Well, I guess you turn it into endorsement deals and things, and then it's like
it's not done yet. Let's see it play out.
Yeah, well, I guess even now, like just because she won so much, she'll be able to have a career of endorsements and things from athletic companies and stuff like that. But it's the anomaly. What I'm saying is like that high school teacher could tell every student from this day forward that, or every student that
they're going to get it right more than they get it wrong.
They're 99.9% right.
Yeah,
because
100%.
This one student happened to make it to the peak of swimming, right, in the Olympics, and actually like made it into the finals and won gold
and medaled and stood on the podium.
Yeah, like that's an insane anomaly, and that teacher is still right. You should have quit swimming, even though she happened to win. All the other people that teacher said that to, that was a correct statement.
Correct.
So, yeah. But we see this, and then we're like, see, I can make it too, but it's like, no.
Yeah, and they probably already
you probably can't.
Just through the way that you were swimming, they could tell you were a different styled athlete anyway, right? Like,
oh no, this teacher said, you should quit swimming.
No, but I mean, like if you were a swim coach,
yeah.
looked at her, and or whatever, would be like, oh yeah, look at that's natural talent there, obviously.
Yeah. And they may have meant swim coach, but again, it's like, how is that?
No, I mean, like if your guidance counselor or your teacher is saying quit the swimming,
I'm
saying the swim coach, on the other hand, could see you swim and be like, oh wow, you got a real good natural, your leg placement's naturally good.
Also, genetics have an insane amount to do with it. Look at all the swimmers; they all have the same body type, right? It's all genetic.
This brings something arms. Up. You see a lot of younger people competing in the Olympics this year. Tell me what you two think about this. I was talking to Andrea about this last night. She came into the bathroom. She's like, "Did you see the diving last night?" I was like, "No, I was falling asleep." I was like, "Who won?" She goes, "Well, the two first and second place were I think two Chinese divers, two women that are just 14. I think they're 13 and 14." And Andrea was like, they were so amazing. They barely splash when they go in the pool. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, a little.
That's what. Okay, I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, they might have a perfect window. Like, look, you're a diver. The window for you is from 14 to 16. You only have 2 years where your splash is going to be the minimal amount, because as you age, as you develop, as you get breast and puberty and muscle, everything. I'm just saying, is that fair? Because
no, it's not. China has been infamous for they'll take athletes out of school and be like, no more school for you. You are focusing on diving. Remember the acrobat we had?
It's the complete opposite of the Canadian swimmer
Yeah, but
teacher.
to me, it's just weird that
it'll ruin. I mean, they won't give them proper education because they care about winning the gold in the Olympics. What I'm saying is that what they're doing is wrong,
right?
Which is it's basically forcing a young person to dedicate their entire
it's child labor.
No well-roundedness at all.
Work for the country.
Yeah. And then they'll win the gold, and then after they age out in the next 4 years,
they're done with them.
They've been practicing diving for their entire childhood.
Well, there were some divers that were 31 years old from America, and then you had a 14-year-old Chinese diver. I'm like, well, just based on the way that their bodies are designed at that age, there's no way to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're automatically going to have less splash. But do the judges, because it's a judge sport, take that into account? I'm sure they do.
I don't know. That was the question I asked my wife. I go, well, that to me seems unfair. It'd be like if you were doing you could do it with anything, right?
Well, they've been arguing with this in wrestling. Remember there was that time where that high school wrestler was an amputee and they were missing a leg.
Yes.
So based on weight, they were stronger than all the other kids they were wrestling, even though they were missing a leg, because they were able to build more muscle in the rest of their body. That whole 30-pound or 20-pound leg you have, he just moved that to muscle and the rest of his body, and he was bigger than everybody else.
The whole geometry of the body.
So they were like, this wrestler was dominating for a short period of time. Now, I'm sure eventually, you have a disadvantage because you're missing a leg and leverage and all that. But he was dominating other high school athletes because he had 20 pounds more muscle than everybody else. Because
good for him.
He had no leg. I know. But then you
let him have it, dude.
Well, that's the same argument with everything. It's like with different athletes and transgender athletes and stuff. It's like everybody's arguing, well, do they have an advantage because of testosterone or build bigger muscle? Or, all these sports have gotten so specific and down to tiny tenths of a second. So look at the running, dude. Sometimes the difference between gold and silver are, insanely small, 1/100th of a second, right? And that's crazy. When you're talking about 1/100th of a second is the difference between the best in the world and not even making the podium or something, then it's every tiny minuscule. Like I saw people complaining about some runner's shoes because he had some sort of revolutionary new technology on the bottom of his shoes that made it sticky. Plus, he had the cleats. Anyway, they're just like, look at these super shoes. They give this runner a better edge than the other runners. And it's like, yeah, of course, when you're talking a hundredth of a second, like any sort of tiny, your reaction times, like how heavy your clothes or your like onesie is that you're wearing, you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff.
I still think you should be nude. I think you go back to my original idea of
I think you'd run slower.
Take it back to probably because it just would feel weird. You need the support.
Yeah. And also that's aerodynamic. That thing that you wear is more aerodynamic than your skin, probably.
Yeah.
So at this point, all these tiny little minuscule things that they do play into whether you're going to win or not.
The other story I love that my wife put in our BDM
I was reading this.
Facebook page
Sad.
Was an Olympic boxer who was so upset that he won the silver, he refused to wear his medal and he cried on the podium. And there he is. Look, there he is.
Poor guy.
He took it off. He's all punk. He's acting punky. You can tell he doesn't want his picture made. But what's funny about this article, this story really isn't that funny, but my wife was reading it and she started laughing. I go, what are you, a psychopath? That's not really that funny.
It's sad.
Yeah, I was like, why are you laughing? And if you read the actual story, he says, you're in this game to win gold, not win silver. You lose gold. I'm very disappointed. I'm very upset. This feeling will stick with me now, and I don't want to feel like this again. I'm going to put this in the back of my mind because I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. I'll come back, trust me. Then if you continue reading on, it says here, among those to say well done was an English Premier League soccer team, Wolverhampton Wanderers, which he used to work for when he was younger. He was fired after getting caught eating a pie in the bathroom.
Oh, I didn't get to that part. That's pretty funny.
Why'd they add that?
They did not need to add that. He already was crying.
So justified my wife laughing, right? Like I look at Andrew, I go, you a psychopath. Like this man,
that's funny.
This man put it on the line. Like, I wanted to yell at my wife, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, why would you laugh at that? But no, she was accurate. The quote says he was fired from Wolverhampton Wanderers because he was in the bathroom eating a pie.
Well, did he steal the pie, or they just get mad that he was eating his pie?
No, that's the only sentence they have is that sentence on the pie. And Andrea said, because she's a journalist, she was like, they ruined the story. The story isn't the silver medal. The story is, how do you get fired for eating a pie in the bathroom? That's the story.
Yeah, that and
what's a puka pie? It says he was eating puka pies and hiding in the bathroom.
Puka pie.
I
don't know what puka pie is. Are we allowed to say that? Butler, you're British. He's a British boxer. What's a puka pie?
Oh, moon pie?
A moon pie? I like moon pies.
Was it just like a brand of
moon
moon
pies?
pies?
A brand, yeah.
Okay. So were they just mad that he was lazy? Something like that? Again, it's like, it goes to show you, like, this guy literally took off his silver medal, which is an insane accomplishment to get a silver medal. Like,
yes.
I mean, in boxing, you start narrowing it down.
He said, I got kicked out of school, and then I went to JD Sports. It was Boxing Day, and it was a bit too much for me, so I hid in the bathroom and got caught and fired.
So they were just mad at him because he was not working or whatever.
He's not a hustler.
But this guy was so upset about himself.
Then I went to my local... This guy eats a lot of pies in the bathroom. Then I went to my local football club, which is the Wolverhampton Wanderers, so I was a flight attendant. It was too cold for me. I couldn't take it anymore, so I hid in the bathroom and was caught eating puka pies. I was fired again. This guy just likes to hide in the bathroom and eat pies.
Sometimes you got a snack.
How can you be simultaneously lazy and seemingly the hardest working guy to get mad that he didn't win a gold?
So then he goes,
right?
Then I was like, you know what? The only thing I seem to be good at is boxing, so let's see how far that can take me.
Wait, so
then he went to the Olympics.
So he's just settled for the Olympics because he couldn't do his true love, which was eating pies in the bath. I don't know. This is weird.
This is weird.
This is weird. Anyways, a weird story.
Also, a lot of boxers are street kids. They come from rough households.
Sure.
So, like, it's just the reality of it.
That's why I
That's
hang
what
around.
it seems like when he said he got kicked out of school and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
So,
why I hang around boxing gyms and I try to adopt these kids.
a lot of street kids will eat wherever and hide and eat because it's their only food. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Like,
want people
they'll-
stealing their food.
And then so they'll go
Yes, yes.
and eat food in the bathroom, which is weird to us, but it's like he's just trying to eat the food that he found. as
Eating in the
fast as possible.
bathroom is something
Gross.
that it is gross. Maisie likes to do it.
Yeah, you told me that. That's
Like I'll look in. I had to put my foot down real hard one day. I look in there and she's pants around their ankles, deucing it up, big box of Cheez-Its on her lap. I'm like, hey, you can't do that. That is not good.
The doo-doo particles are
She doesn't care. She's a real man.
She's in there. I mean, if she could make. I've made the argument to my wife. I'm like, I open my mouth in here, so what's the difference? You know, it's like I don't hold my breath when I go into the bathroom.
Yeah,
and I'm breathing, so it's what am I worried about?
Yeah, what am I supposed to say?
If you're going to argue doo-doo particles are getting on my food, then you can argue don't breathe in the bathroom.
Oh, I feel bad now. He's got like social issues and he has ADHD, and when he got kicked out of school his dad forced him to get a job, and so when it was Boxing Day he worked at a sports shop and he was having like a panic attack, and
so
he
he's an
freaked out,
abused child.
so he hid in the bathroom.
So Tom's right. Abused street kid.
Yeah.
Abused and belittled for eating pies in the bathroom.
No,
doesn't
this
get the
comfort
silver
food.
medal and freaks out because he's just not good at social situations. Yeah. All right, we figured it out.
Yeah. It is funny though that they even put
I
the
know.
reason he did get fired. It's
Didn't
like,
need to put it in there.
You didn't need to put that in there.
Yeah. That's called the writer needs clicks. And
Is it though? Because he buried it. He didn't say
Yeah.
habitual pie eater doesn't want silver medal, which
That's
is
true,
what I would have done.
You're right. He didn't even
Yeah.
use
It
it
was
for
like
clicks.
a rando comment.
I would have been
Yeah.
like silver medal, not quite pie in the sky. You know, you do like some weird.
He had to have thought it was funny. Like, of
Yes.
course it is.
He put it in there as a hidden joke. I mean, the whole article, like, if anybody should be mad, this boxer should beat up the guy who wrote the article, right?
Yeah.
Because the guy who wrote it, because he's like, hey, get in here. This guy, hey, look at this guy. He's a pie eater. You know, and then they write it, and he's mad as hell now, I bet.
So when does the Olympics end?
Not soon enough. Oh, my God. Every TV in my house is on it. My wife moved a flat screen TV into her office so she can leave it on all the time.
Why does she like it so much?
I don't know. I asked her.
I've I turn it on. I'll look. I'll be like, all right, and like it's again because there's no context. I was like, oh, the discus. They showed some preview of the discus, and apparently United States won that in the female discus or something. But they throw, and then when they describe how heavy it is and how far they throw, I'm like, whoa! And then I see them all do it, and then I'm just like,
Why do they put it by their chin?
That's the ball. That's what a shot,
Shot
put.
put.
That's shot put. The discus they spin and throw it like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
frisbee.
That looks fun.
But I don't know when they throw it. I'm like, that looks far, but I don't really know.
Right.
Like, have the fat judge throw it to see how far, like a regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if
So
this
you want,
is
like-
super. Like, I need to be impressed, and I can't be impressed with just watching the best athletes in the world do it because they're all pretty close. So I'm like, it seems like it's far, but I don't know how far I could throw it because
Why don't they just-
I've never even held a discus.
Why don't they just throw frisbees? Those fly better. And you can see how far that goes.
It's like a big metal. How
Yeah,
much
but that's dumb. Why are you throwing something heavy? Throw a thing that's made to fly a long way and see how far you can throw the frisbee.
Well, then any skinny, pot-smoking hippie
No,
could throw a frisbee.
I mean, you would think that if you could throw a discus really good, that you'd be the king or queen of frisbees,
Yeah,
right?
have him throw a frisbee after me. Like, look, and then
Yeah,
like,
here
That's
it is.
too much now.
Throwing a discus and now throw a frisbee.
I'd watch that in the break. I'd be like, let's see how far he could throw a dish, like
Yeah.
a regular
it's
dish.
like when we had Michael Phelps.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
plate.
when we had Michael Phelps race the shark virtually. You
Right.
got to do some funny, weird stuff in there to keep my attention. I want to see the guy throw a shot put. I want to throw a baseball. I want to see him throw a strawberry.
Well, then they're like, it's like throwing a bowling ball, but I'm like, well, I want to see him throw a bowling ball now, because that would be entertaining. Because then I'll be like, whoa, look how far he threw that bowling ball.
Just get a big table and put a bunch of items on there for this guy to throw, and just have him throw stuff.
Because that's more impressive. Like the little metal shot put ball, I've never even picked up a shot put ball. Who has? Has anybody here picked up a
I've
shot
never
put ball?
seen a shot put ball.
I've never even seen one.
Are
in
they
real
called
life.
shot puts?
I don't know.
Or are they called shot put balls?
No one ever had one in high school. I've never seen one.
I've never seen the pole that you go over the bar.
Yeah,
I've never
pole,
seen that. I've never seen any of this stuff. I don't even know if it's real.
Javelin.
I don't watch it.
I've never seen a javelin. You ever seen a javelin? You ever touched a javelin?
I've never touched the javelin in the real life.
Me neither.
So I don't know
How about those little gates that you put your feet in? You ever use those?
I've never even walked next to a hurdle to see how tall it is.
Me either.
Like,
Me neither.
like I'm like, it seems like it's tall, but these guys are tall.
None
I don't
of
know
this
what it
stuff's-
is.
None of this stuff's
Like,
real.
could I even jump over one if I tried my hardest? Like, I don't know. It seems like maybe I could.
I don't think I could. I don't think I'm built for that.
So it's not that impressive when I see someone run a 4 or 540 while they hurdle
Oh
hurdles.
my God, we figured out the problem with the Olympics. The
We
reason,
can't relate.
The reason
yeah,
nobody cares about it is because we can't relate to these old sports. It'd be like,
Yeah.
it'd be like if I have this and I'm like, watch this. I'm the best at this. Watch. What'd you think? And you're like, well, what were you trying to do? And I go, I'm the best at crumpling a paper in that form.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I don't know.
I have no way of figuring out
I
whether
guess I'll
you
take
are
your
the
word
best.
for
I
it.
have no way of proving that.
You need to have like a hurdle should be an IKEA couch or something that we understand. Like I know an IKEA couch. I've seen one. I have one. And then I know how big that is, how tall it is in relation to myself. Like when you even and then do everything in meters and stuff that my dumb American mind doesn't understand.
I agree with that. Another thing that my wife's
I want yards and feet.
Another thing my wife's obsessed with in the Olympics are that now the blades have been back. Not the leg blades that you run on. I mean like the Oakley
blades,
Yeah.
sunglasses.
Oakley style aggressive pit
I'm into
viper, aggressive
multicolor
goggle style. My wife is into those. But only the ones that have the nose piece that comes out like a chicken beak.
Okay.
Have you seen those?
What is that for?
I don't know, but she's obsessed with them. And Oakley makes them. They're all gold, and then they have a gold chicken beak that comes out, and she wants a pair of those. And I'm like, oh yeah, get those. Because
What's
she already
the
has a
beak
pointy
for?
nose. I don't know.
Is it you?
It's to protect keep sun off your nose, I think.
Oh, the beak is the
It's like a nose piece, except it's built into so the goggles are gold, and then the nose comes out.
So it protects because that's what gets sunburned first, right?
I think your nose.
Because it's away from your face and it burns.
Yeah.
All right. I've never. Yeah, like it seems like just put some one line of sunscreen
Also,
to be fine.
I watched a lot of track and field. Right, I've watched a lot of guys running.
Yeah.
Haven't seen one default, not one.
No. I could see the outline of
Oh
it. Though,
yeah,
and all of them.
All of them run it up too. They all do what I do. They run it
No,
up.
I haven't seen it up. I haven't seen any
they're
up.
all up.
No,
all up.
No. I haven't seen any up.
Oh, straight to the sky.
No. And here's the proof of it.
If you're a guy, it goes to the sky.
There would be pictures on the BDM page of people running it up and be
Look
like,
it up, Sam.
I saw no one run it up. I saw
They're all straight up.
No, I didn't see one. I looked at everyone because I made comments. I'm like, look at these guys' D's.
Yeah, but it's bells to heaven, not to hell.
No, it's bells down.
No, it's not bells down.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Dude, I've seen some bells sideways, never up. I saw no bell up.
I mean, what is that? If it's in the 180 degrees of pointing up, that's up.
No,
that ain't down.
This sideways. I've seen sideways. Not anywhere like
I've seen side to up. I've not seen any down, sir. Not one.
I've seen most sideways and down.
And the most impressive, Ethiopia.
They all seem to be impressive.
Well, compared to
their
us.
build.
Yeah,
Their build.
They're lean.
Like, if I wore that, there'd be nothing. It'd be like a Ken doll. It's a smooth pouch, like no definition. Anyway.
Let's try this voicemail.
Hey Sam, Tom, Dan Butler, Chris Strema here. Hope y'all are doing well. I wanted to let you know I got a scam call today, but it actually had the name of...
I'm going to have to stop here.
Yeah,
we're way over.
We're 6 minutes over.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all over the place, but what's interesting is that we're taping this, full transparency, we're taping this on what Sam and I have deemed Karaoke Thursday.
Yeah.
So when we go live on Twitch, and you can watch all of this, all of us singing and everything, just go to twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. During the breaks, we sing Karaoke Thursdays. We were singing a little Lionel Richie. And then you said, what do you want to sing, Tom? And then, Tom, I know he ain't going to sing. This is not his thing. But then a light bulb went off in your brain because you were like, oh, my God, maybe I'm the guy that a hypnotist or a skeptic, or what do you call those guys? Not skeptic.
Mentalist.
You're the guy they want because you said, I won't sing and I don't want to sing, but I can be forced into singing.
Yes.
He said he could be forced into doing anything.
Yeah, you said, well, that was the quote, is I can be forced into doing anything.
Yeah.
Now, is it?
Yeah. Pure pressure works on me 100% of the time.
Okay.
Calling me a chicken works, like Marty McFly. 100%.
Are your boys peer pressured a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No. Well, they are susceptible to it. If I chant Tommy, like, if I chant Tommy's name,
he loves a chant.
He'll jump off the cliff.
He pumps him up.
He'll do it, because he doesn't want to let down the people that believe in him.
Oh my God, that breaks my heart.
I'm like, he's got what I got.
He's
doomed.
Yeah,
he's doomed.
I've seen the chant. Like, he was going inside to get clothing on, and then Crystal started doing Tommy, and then he's like, I got to jump right back in. I got to go for it.
It's the opposite. It's not because he wants to impress the audience or somehow like be braggadocious and be like, look at me, I did it.
Right.
He doesn't want to let them down. Because I feel me and Tommy, it's weird. I don't know if you see, like we talked about this before, tons of yourself and Maisie and like different personality traits and stuff that they were just born with. I see so much of that in Tommy, not so much as Max. I see different things in Max that I have, but that not wanting to disappoint people, not wanting
Is that a people pleaser? What is that?
I don't know. It's
for
horrible.
sure, people pleaser.
That's like a thing,
you can
right?
go to therapy for that, you know.
Yeah, people can because that can end up.
It's helped me a lot.
I think
it's hurt me a lot.
I think all of this stuff can.
Which one has it done more for me?
I don't know,
okay.
Sam.
But I think
don't know.
anything, right? Anything that's like, there's a reason that Kanye West calls his mental problems his superpower, right? I mean, there can be benefits to these type of things.
Yeah, he just realized, like, hey, I could write
really crazy
creative,
music.
Creative music, the outside the box music. If I don't take my medication, now I'm gonna be living in Atlanta Stadium and doing crazy ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be doing crazy things with MAGA hats on. You know, all these things that he's doing. But what comes with that is the great music that he's able to produce. So I guess it's like, I'm just giving up my sanity for my success.
So
right?
the example on trial here is you in the audience, I guess. We've got Mentalist on stage. He needs somebody to come up and help him. If he selects you, you're not going to raise your hand, number one. But if he goes, how about you, sir?
Yeah.
Stand up, sir, because they do that move. They don't ever go, would you like to do it? They don't ask you, would you like to? They go, how about this guy? Stand up, sir.
And then they give him a round of applause. Then that round of applause
pulls you in.
It pulls me in because I'm afraid to disappoint all the people that are strangers,
by the way,
that are just applauding for me to go
I've
up there.
I've already given you my hand.
And it's too awkward for me to be like, no, I'm not doing it. And then,
I saw that guy at SeaWorld. I saw that guy at SeaWorld, and it was uncomfortable.
I love that. If I had any of what that guy has, my life would be so much better, or at least I think so. Who knows? You are who you are, I guess. But it's like, I wish I had the ability to just be like, screw that, I'm not getting up there. And then he'll move on, you know what I'm saying? But instead, I'll be like, ugh, and I'll get up there because everybody's clapping for me. And then I'll sit on stage. I'm like, I know in my mind, I'm like, this is not going to work. And then the guy is super excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I went up with Michael Barron, the magician.
It's exactly like that.
And I wanted to, like...
and you danced for the table.
You actually ended up ruining it a little bit because you went...
You hammed it up too much.
You hammed it up like you looked...
I thought that's what he wanted.
You looked like...
I wanted to give him what they want.
God, you looked like a small town dum-dum when you went out there.
I know!
And you're not.
I didn't want to do it.
I get so
I hated
tired.
every second of it. I hated it.
Can I tell you?
I hated that I did that. I'm embarrassed that I did that. I'm embarrassed that my sons will see that.
I am tired.
I don't want to do it.
I am so tired.
I hate it.
You know what? Tired's not the right word.
I hate it so much.
I am exhausted. I am exhausted from telling people and saying, no, he's really smart. He's really smart.
No,
right.
No.
You got to convince people,
Because he is.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this is not based on intelligence.
No.
This is the irrational, weirdo thing that I am.
So are you going to hire Jay Moore to be your life coach?
Okay, yeah. So
well, something must have happened in Tom's life that...
No, it didn't, dude. I was
Did
born
you
this
let
way.
somebody down?
Baby, I was born
No, Tommy
this
is this. And he didn't... He grew up the exact...
He learned it from you, Dad.
Was your dad like this?
He didn't... My mom says he is, but my mom says so many different things. My mom says like my dad wouldn't have confrontation with until it became like a redneck fight,
a gunfight.
Carry guns. Anyway,
was I not supposed to talk about this?
But he, he tried to avoid confrontation too. So maybe it's from him. I have no idea. Well, but I got the extreme.
The last person that was in here that tried to psychoanalyze you was. With any level of success, I should probably add on there, was comedian Jay Moore. That was at the Improv. He came in here, and for those of you that might be listening to our show and have been for a long time, if you've heard this particular episode, it's sort of a legendary interview with us because Jay starts pulling what you and I have kind of boiled down to like mentalist-style tricks in order to connect with you.
Yeah,
and try to pull things out of your brain.
He's able to, I guess, garner enough personal information based on his ability to read people's personalities or to make it seem like he's knowing things that it's impossible to know.
And I'm not throwing any negativity on him. He's a sweet man. We loved having him in.
No, he said he wasn't claiming to be psychic.
Yeah, I'd love to have him back in.
This is something he is selling on his website. He can be your life coach. His ad says, unlock your best self, rediscover your purpose, become the you've wanted to be. I will help you. I'm an intuitive. It's like a psychic, but real. Together we find the places you are blocking yourself because of your past conditioning and history. You were born magnificent and that has not changed. I have never worked with someone who hasn't seen profound results. I will send you a non-disclosure agreement to ensure your privacy. What I do is intuitive, sometimes a little spooky. Know that you are safe and protected.
This is a good example. Like he is actually summing up what he does very well. That's an honest ad.
And it's true. Like this is not BS.
No, it's not.
He says he will never break your trust or manipulate you in any way.
I'm telling you, like when he was at the end of that Jay Moore, and we should put that out.
He's got testimonials.
All right, let's put it back out
he
there.
was like,
hey, can you reach back out to him and see maybe if you could zoom into us?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about.
We need to replay
we were doing this. We will.
It is Norm's favorite interview, by the way.
We were doing this with Jay before this was even an idea, even in his head, I think.
Well, remember I think we said in the interview, you're doing what a psychic does. Remember? And he's like, and then he probably figured it out over the years, and people are like, hey,
you're good at this.
You're really good at this, and you could sell this because it's true. When someone does this to you, and I can only describe it like that.
You'd have to listen to the
Maybe he can help you, Tom.
It makes you think there's some supernatural ability. You're like, well, how'd you know that? Because I think most of us we're not that intuitive. I think it's something like it must be some humans are way more like this guy and psychics and stuff than others.
I think your wife has a level of this.
She's not emotionally intuitive, I think. Like
okay, well, that would make sense because you can have it in different areas, right? It doesn't have to be in just one area of your life.
She's hyper vigilant in the fact that she notices everything, but maybe not like knowing, being intuitive to a person and knowing where things came from fast. I've never seen her do that. I'm telling you,
interesting.
The only people I've ever seen do it in real life are psychics and Jay Moore, and I think maybe mentalists. I tried to get it out of that one mentalist we interviewed and asked him about this, and he didn't really want to dive into it. I think he was new.
The Fringe Festival guy.
Yeah, I think it was.
He wanted to do a good job, and he didn't want to
because it's a thing. I think it's not openly talked about.
No,
because it downplays the supernatural.
Right. It's just like magicians who do this. I feel like you have to be extremely comfortable, and you have to be in the space for a period of time to earn the ability to reveal it.
Yes, yeah.
If you haven't earned the
it's like their superpower.
Koshik Kimlot has let us know certain things, but only because he has gone through the trials to get to a point where no one will ever look at him and be like, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, he's paid his dues. He's one of the best. So he could say, this is an illusion. I'm tricking you.
Interesting. So is this going to be this is just a private lesson?
Yeah. He's just doing peer-to-peer,
He's taking on clients, You just fill out a form on his website.
Give me a few of the testimonials.
Testimonials?
Give me a couple
let's go
testimonials.
with the first one here.
This is JJ.
They call him JJ. JJ is a gifted, intuitive coach. If you are wondering if you should reach out to hire him, follow that hunch. I'm glad I did. I'm a spiritual director and a pastor. I know the value of a good coach. JJ is a good coach. What makes his coaching special is JJ himself. Working via email held a unique power. Organizing your thoughts and examining them because our words matter. In his most helpful response to me, he opened with, "You're full of S." I was full of S. He is compassionate, kind, no fluff, and his coaching gave me the keys to see a victim mentality that I was holding on to like a lifeline. And then he signed his name.
What's weird
And
about
then under his name said a guy less full of S than before.
I wonder what's
so
weird.
Very honest.
What's weird about these things is, and the same
I
thing
don't like
with,
they call him JJ.
with psychics. This is basically therapy. He's just a really good therapist.
Yes.
You don't like the word. You don't like the name JJ because the name JJ has a stereotype of being a fast-talking.
Well, your name should be 2 J's. His name's Jay Moore. It's not J. It's not JM.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where's the other J come from?
We don't know his middle name.
What is it?
I don't know.
It could be Jay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Because everybody in the testimonials calls him Coach JJ.
It's probably his middle initial of some, but it
It's
is
like
like
TC,
yeah, but JJ is something like traditionally the
His middle name
stereotype-
is Ferguson, guys.
Okay, you're right.
JF.
Why? Yeah, you can't just call yourself JJ. It's like calling yourself Junior, but you're not a junior. If you don't take
I've been doing that.
Anyway,
I call myself Lil Guy.
Little guy?
Lil Guy.
What's interesting about the psychology of this is they usually just, because when Jay was doing this intuitive thing to me,
JJ.
Please, Coach JJ.
he was just telling me things. He's like, "Hey, you probably did your dad die?" Or like he started guessing things that were true. He's just telling me what happened in my life.
It's like John Edwards.
And it made me feel like, how'd you know that? Like how wonder what that, because it's not solving anything. It's not like, hey, you should do this or whatever. He's just telling me things that I already know. Like, yes, my dad. We all know. All our listeners know my dad died.
Is it a more detailed version of if we had a woman sitting here that happened to be dressed scantily and was very skinny and had sores all over her face, and if I just looked at her and said, "Are you a stripper?" and she said, "Oh yes," how did you like? Is it just a more mental version of you can size up the scenario? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm being serious here. It's like,
well, that what I'm curious about is that, like, whatever that I can understand, that ability probably comes from he very quickly can kind of
he picked up what answers you were saying and used those to shape a better idea of your psyche, right?
And then have an understanding of like what causes some person's personality, this, that, like he's doing this equation super fast in his head and able, like I said, like a psychic, you start guessing right things based on a conversation. But what's interesting is the person that is like accepting that or hearing that, does it cause us to have a instant connection with this person, or because there's something that is
yes,
like
I think
interesting or pleasing about that? Well, why? It's
Yeah.
like he's just telling you some truth about yourself that you already know, so it's not solving anything.
No, but sometimes people need that.
Yeah, but it's.
I guess you're.
I think it's tribal.
Make you look at it.
I think it's tribal, and I think it's age old. It'd be no different than if we had a community village fire here, and me and Sam both walked up, and we both had red feathers in our headdress or whatever we were wearing at the time. And you see what I'm saying? Like there's a relatability there that breaks the ice, I feel like. So when he says that, I think your mind immediately gravitates to wanting to talk to him because your brain is making also really fast equations, right?
Yeah.
And it's saying, "Oh, you recognize that in me.
Right.
You must be
we must
like
have
me."
a connection.
And then,
Right.
so
And
whatever
something.
advice
It's
he gives you,
subconscious,
probably
yes.
then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're right. It is. I'm compensating or doing this
Yeah.
because of this behavior. So
Yeah.
you tend to believe that person more. So it's an instant trust thing.
I think so.
So it's not just in your head; it's someone else telling you about it.
And it's like therapy. It has to come from a stranger. If it comes from your wife or your kids or anything like
God, not my wife and
you
kids.
know what I'm saying? Like then, so it's just like therapy. And he good for him.
I
for
still think he needs a
monetizing
show,
it.
though. I
But
wish
in
this-
his disclaimer, he did say he is not a professional. So
yeah.
I think you should know that. Anyway, bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
We're going to jump into your email messages if you'd like to leave us one. show@tomanddan.com. Do you guys think you send more emails or do you send more text messages? What's more important in your toolkit?
Text by far.
Email or text? I'm
Depends who
an
I'm
email
talking to.
guy. I'm more emails.
if it's business, it's email.
I've been pulling back from the phone a lot.
Yeah, I want to do that. Now it's going to get worse than ever because NFL is starting back up again, and then with
That's what
all
I'm
my
worried
gambling
about. I
and
know.
the games that I've gotten into more fantasy stuff, and like, so I'm gonna have to. I'm horrible with managing my time, and I'm gonna have to start because we were talking about being manic or like. not organizing myself. I'm horrible at organization. So it's like I think of something, I'm like, I got to do it before I forget.
The ADD kicking in.
I'll procrastinate. I'll never do it if I don't do it right now. Yeah. And it's a way that I tried to hack not becoming organized and just
does not work.
It doesn't. It causes a lot of problems because
then you forget the thing you were already working on.
That and Crystal's like, why did you go from talking to me then to writing an email? It's disrespectful.
You do that all the time.
I get that with Andrew. Yeah, and then, I picked that up from him.
And then it's like because I thought of something I had to do, and if I don't do it right now, because I'm bad at life, I'll procrastinate or forget, or And so it was a way for me to hack my being bad at life. Okay, but it's a horrible.
It's not really a hack.
No. Well, it did. It caused me to. At least keep up and not procrastinate as much as I used to.
You got to start with lists, man. When you think of something, just add it to a list on your phone, and then come back to it when you have time.
Right before I'm going to bed, I'll think about something. I'll be like, "Oh man, that's really funny. We should do that." And I'll be like, "Make a note in your phone."
Gotta write it down.
And then I'll be like, "I'm too snuggly." Like I'm like in my covers already, and I'm like, too snuggly.
Well. I email myself literally on the subject line. I just put topics and then or topics/ideas, but it's all under topics, and then I email myself like 2 or 3 times a day with ideas, different things.
Whatever. I email myself, but it's usually like, "Hey, what's up?"
Do you respond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth. I have a pen pal named Daniel. I've been going back and forth with for about the last. I don't know, when did we move in here? Like 6 years or so.
Let's do an email.
All right.
BMX info/shaman contact.
Yeah. We're looking for shaman.
Hello, Videoman here. I heard you guys talking about BMX racing on Monday's show, and I wanted to answer a few questions that were thrown out. Yes, I know you probably talked about it many days ago and have long since forgotten, but I can't help myself. Yes, Florida is a huge BMX racing state. We have 16 tracks in the state.
Wow.
Orlando does have a track. It's in Barnett Park. Most tracks are tucked back or out in the sticks, which is why you don't see them from a main road often. From how you talk about your daughter's energy, it might be a great thing to look into for. I thought about that too. She might actually dig that.
She's good on a bike. Racing. Yeah, she likes that park, the bike park, but I have to get her I don't want to get her another bike.
The crash you talked about in the Olympics wasn't during the race. It was practice, so no trouble figuring out how to reset the race or whatever. Luckily, that means the rider was probably only going like 60 to 70% speed. Oof. I know Sam said no one was hurt, but actually the racer did fracture his kneecap and also still went on to win the gold. The official was first reported to be okay, but later went to the hospital for concussion concerns from what I heard. I hope you do get Sam's friend on to talk about it. It's a great activity, but the association that runs it does a pretty bad job at finding ways to promote it to the public. So any exposure to the mainstream helps. Also, I'm curious to know who it is since I've been in the scene for 20 plus years. I'll let you know, Brett. You also read my email about getting Eddie the Shaman on and mentioned looking for contact info. He seems very active on Facebook, and then he gives me his information. So
I mean, he's my friend on Facebook. Again, too snuggly to email him.
I'll email him. I'm never snuggly.
Here's the problem with eliminating sexism from our society.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Where did this come from?
I don't know.
This is all I can think about.
My God, he just pulled.
All you can think about is sexism?
Well, the fact that we're eliminating it and it's causing at least this one problem, and I'll explain. My sons don't know how to ride a bike, and it's very embarrassing.
I almost just called him the P word.
There it is! And you'll love this!
Oh, no. What's
so
wrong?
Here's the problem with everybody's equal and boys and girls are the same, is they don't know how to ride a bike because they're lazy like me.
Well, you didn't teach them.
They don't even want to learn. Sam, you know what
they're not. They're not bike boys.
I have bikes. I've got plenty of bikes. I've bought.
What if you just start riding your bike around?
I have bikes. He doesn't like bikes.
We got him a bike where they sit on the back and then they pedal, but it's attached to the front of our bike to learn.
Tandem?
Not
it's like
tandem,
they ride behind you.
Yeah, but they're being pulled basically on one wheel.
So they don't have to do nothing.
They don't.
Pretty awesome. You just chill back there behind your dad.
Anyway, and we keep me and my wife keep saying you have to learn how to ride a bike. But you got to go out. We're gonna learn.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
But it was like everybody else knows how to. It's like you got to get out there and ride some bikes.
There are grown men that don't know how to ride bikes.
Here's the problem. Then I step in and like Maisie knows how to ride a bike. She can ride a bike awesome. Like she could get on her bike
run
and
circles
follow her parents.
She go
ride and follow her.
She's been been riding for the last 3 years.
And because we've eliminated sexism, they don't care. They're like, so what? She's a really good athlete. Of course she is.
You're right. There's no
and they're
pressure.
not embarrassed by
No
it
pressure.
because I'm trying to make them. I'm like, see, a girl could. They're like, so what? Of
You're
course
right.
you can. And
They
then
took away your leverage. They took
20
it away.
years ago, you would have heard that. Be like, no, I gotta do it and get out there because if a girl could do it, that's how I was raised.
He's right. I never thought
I would
about
be
that.
shamed if my dad
That's why
said
he was so mad
a
about
girl.
the accident
It
yesterday.
it doesn't matter
Yeah,
now
yeah.
because you go, Maisie can ride a bike. They're like, yeah, who cares?
They use it as
I'm
motivation.
Maisie, Maisie's me. We're all Maisie. Like they're like, everybody's the same. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're
So
like,
there-
God damn.
There's the problem.
Yeah, that's it. It's
It's
not bad parenting.
You just got to get one.
You can't use it as a motivator anymore.
You just need one knowing. If one knows, the other will follow suit.
Are there other kids in the neighborhood that ride bikes around?
Oh yeah, they see him.
Oh, they don't care. Well, they're just not into it then, man.
Yeah, they're just not bike
I
guys.
know what they're not anything.
They aren't into it.
They like
They
playing
are.
Minecraft.
They're into
Video games.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
They're going to be little baby potatoes.
Oh,
I know,
no, they'll
no.
be tiny. They'll just,
I assume that
Hail.
they'll eventually, they have like Max will get out there, and Tommy has a bike too, and they'll ride it. They got training wheels, and I keep telling them, I'm like, let's take the training wheels off and like let's learn how to ride this. They're just not motivated to. They're just like,
it's like kids in cars, man. Like May is an anomaly.
Why aren't you motivated?
Like a lot of her friends, it's not just your boys. A lot of Maisie's friends don't care about learning how to ride a bike. Bikes are not as cool.
Well, it's not even a mean. Like back when I remember when I learned how to ride a bike, not too far after, I would just travel on my bike
Right.
Me too.
and
Yeah.
go to my buddy's
I got a
house.
down-
Will you let your
Downtown
kids do that, though? If they're
Well-
like, hey, I'm going to my friend's house on the other side of the neighborhood.
This is a problem.
Yeah,
Maisie has been asking to ride to one of her friends' houses.
Yeah,
By herself.
It's within sight.
we
I'm not down with it.
cars
Cars.
without looking or with looking because we'll let the boys ride like around the block or whatever or to their grandma's house, which is down at the end of the cul-de-sac.
But you can still see them, right?
Yeah,
But I mean,
Yeah.
like when you were a kid, how you used to just
No,
take off. Are you going to allow your kids to do that?
I would. My wife isn't.
I want
I would
to.
be like, there.
This might surprise you. Andrea probably would let Maisie do it. I will not.
Like, I'm not worried about them getting kidnapped per se, although it is a irrational fear that everybody still
I
has.
have
So
it,
even
yeah.
though I'm like, you're not going to get kidnapped, but you can't fight back if if someone did try to grab you. But most likely it's not going to happen. Still, though, with that insane irrational fear, it's too powerful for me to not be worried about it. But I don't know if they're like 10 or 9 and then they are responsible and I know that they can handle it. It's all subjective, I guess.
Man.
If I like, they're fine, then they're fine.
I would like
but
to
if I
You
think-
also got a pair, so that's a little easier than just one
Yeah.
little girl on her own.
That's true. Yeah,
I
there was
agree.
that.
Two boys on bikes to me is okay. Like May, there will come a time in the very near future because she,
Oh, yeah, independent woman.
She rides her bike all the time. Where she's already started asking because I'll ride up there with her to like a CVS or like a 7-Eleven and get a candy or something. Like
Yeah.
that's fun.
She's still only 6 though, so
Yeah.
I feel like
That's a baby.
but I'm trying to think back in
Double
the,
digits?
in the 80s. I think I was 6 or 7. I was riding a 4-wheeler at 2 with diapers on.
I know.
So I'm sure at 6 I was already going to my buddy Joe's house. That was like
At
and my mom
6.
never even looked out the window. I just went.
Yeah, I would ride to my buddy Brent's house. I know I would ride on my Dukes of Hazzard bike.
Yeah, because
I'd
that's
ride to Brent's
because
house.
7 is 2nd grade, 3rd grade. Yeah, like we were going out. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was a time when my mom, like, she'd see me get off the bus or she'd pick me up. I'd come home, right? I'd ditch all my books and stuff. I'd get on my bike and I'd leave and I wouldn't see my mom. I wouldn't call from the neighbor's phone. I wouldn't call from Brent's phone. I would just ride my bike.
Yeah.
And with no beeper, no cell phone, no nothing. I'm in the neighborhood. And then I knew I had to be home around
Before dark.
5:30, 6
Yeah.
o'clock, or before dinner, if she were cooking something.
Okay, yeah.
And I'd ride home.
Yeah.
And that was the deal.
We can get away with it. The problem is you're just influenced by too much horrible things all the time to ever be. Here's the
The
thing.
world is horrible.
No-
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like
we are influenced Because we are constantly
this stuff
being,
happened
yeah.
back. Listen.
Oh yeah, kids were getting kidnapped back in the 80s.
More. It was happening more back then. Like because there was less surveillance, less people vigilantly, like cameras and stuff like that.
But with more cameras comes more influence, and with more influence comes more fear.
Yeah. It's for sure. They should have been not letting us do it back then because it was happening way more.
Stranger danger. That's when it started.
And we were all doing it. And none of us, some of us, I guess, probably no one that we know listening to this got ever kidnapped.
Oh, I'm sure somebody did. I bet you there's a person in our listening
audience. If you are a listener
audience.
and you were kidnapped, please email me.
Dude, I guarantee you we have a listener that was abducted.
No, I bet you.
I'll
let's take the bet.
By a non-relative?
Right, it can't be a custody thing.
It can't be your It can't be your dad.
I'll still take it
or
for
your
fun.
crazy mom.
I'll take it for fun. Sure, why not? I don't believe in it quite as much, but I'll go with it. Yeah, I'll say yes. We have at least somebody that was abducted.
Abducted by a stranger?
Yeah.
I'll bet you 100.
Okay, $100.
Easy bet. I got good odds on that. Real good.
You do. But man, if we have one, it's going to be an interesting story and terrifying.
Right?
Here's the thing. I'm already happy I made a good bet. And it doesn't even matter if I lose. $100, even odds that no listener.
Look how happy he is now. Just from betting.
Changed his whole mood. It's almost like he opened a fresh Hourglass IPA. It's going to throw axes again.
$100 in the books. I get a quality bet. Yeah.
So how long do I have to have people email? And
we got to have people.
This is the worst contest we've ever done. The abduction contest.
Yeah. And the rules are not by any relative.
Right.
Total stranger.
Total stranger.
All right. Usually,
what about
you don't live to tell
stranger,
that one.
We'll wait until the end of August.
Okay,
we'll
what about not total stranger? What if it was like the preacher at my church?
That counts. That counts.
Oh yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
I mean, relative. We'll just say relative, like mom
not related
or dad.
to the family.
Because normally,
it could be your aunt. It could be your Uncle Joe. Like I say, no relatives.
Yeah, no
stranger.
Relatives. Yeah.
For the
stranger danger.
Okay. Next email.
Samantha Ramsdell is like the giant mouth lady. World record. It's got to be Tom's thing. Google her and be shocked, or I guess maybe horny.
It came out yesterday, and then
everyone's sharing this in the BDM
picture.
group.
She can put a whole apple in her mouth.
Giant Granny Smith in there.
Yeah. I saw that.
Too big, or is that what you like, buddy?
I think you like the lips, right? Or no? Do you like the wide?
He likes
I can't describe it, but I don't like this. I don't like this.
Too novelty, right?
It's not,
It's too big.
Like I said, Carrie Byron from the Mythbusters, or formerly from the Mythbusters.
She's a mother now, sir.
She's
the standard.
She has a perfect
I remember
sized mouth.
That's when I first realized the fetish of that. Why do I find her so attractive?
The circumference.
It's something about her big mouth. And then I saw a girl at an ale house, a waitress, and she's got a big mouth.
Well, she looked like Carrie Byron. Is like.
Even Liz Tyler, she got a big old mouth, right?
Liv Tyler?
Oh, Liv Tyler. Liz
Tyler's the porn star that lives in town.
Liv Tyler.
Or former adult actress who lives in town.
She's got her old man's big mouth, too.
Yeah, she's got,
And I'm like, that's for whatever reason. But not
Nobody
this novelty.
likes little mouths, though, right?
Somebody does.
I think we can all know.
Somebody's into
you think there's a
it.
kink?
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody's got something.
Somebody's like,
because it makes their D look bigger.
I can't get.
Can I say that?
I can't get. I can't get horny unless the woman has a cat butt mouth.
Not that it's
tiny little or you ever seen people they got bird lips where they don't even have lips.
Right.
It's not about the extremes because look at the world's record big mouth.
I thought you were pointing at my teeth. I'm like, world record.
I thought you were doing.
Right?
I was like, man, he is feeling comfortable with this newfound gambling juice running in his veins.
I'm saying I looked at the world record and that it should be correlated with my horniness, and it's not. I looked at him like, nah, I don't like that.
Is it because?
And she's an attractive lady.
She is an attractive lady. I think it's just a little too big.
Yeah. I don't like. It's not the size. It's the ratio.
It's the motion.
Mm-hmm.
I like a bigger size ratio, but if the ratio is not right, it's too big, then it's off.
Also, I think maybe she's
small.
Not
the bigger the better.
She small. She looks like a delicate, smaller woman, like I'm little.
Yeah.
She looks little with a big mouth.
Yeah.
If I have my druthers, I'd prefer big with big.
She has 90,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, well, big mouth fetishes. 90,000 guys like Tom, they're thirsting over this mouth.
And
it is too big for her face. It's almost Joker style.
But see, this is a horrible thing to say to your mouth is too big, lady.
She's got some sort of OnlyFans, right?
No, I don't think she does anything weirdo.
Well, you don't have to do anything too weird. You could just put like apples and other things. Oh God!
Oh man, that's where the Corona fully goes. That's where he gets it. It's all in there.
I tried to talk through
I
it.
know
I
you
don't
did.
think it's coming.
It's coming. I
like,
can feel the viscosity. I can feel the viscosity in your throat.
God damn it!
That was like ASMR,
Oh
man.
my God.
This is. I gotta stop.
If
You gotta stop.
If you had a
Drink some
bigger,
water.
If you had a bigger mouth like that lady, now with bigger mouth comes more problems. Big mouth, big problems. Is that?
No, I don't
you're
think
able.
so.
You're
Are
able to
her
monetize
teeth-
it now.
Are her teeth larger?
She's got good teeth.
Yeah, no, it's regular
No,
teeth.
but there's
just
got to
a-
be problems. She'll have, like, anything that's an extreme, there's a problem. The tallest man in the world's got back problems, right?
Or heart.
Shortest man in the world, he's got those weirdo kneecaps that bend outward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody that's an extreme has a problem.
Yeah, it's probably some jaw issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she got, like,
but-
TMJ to the
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah. Or it's.
She's considered a TikTok sensation. She makes appearances and stuff.
Let's hire her. How much to
Well, we
have
should-
I
her?
don't know.
We should interview her, which is gonna be a horrible interview,
Yeah,
by the
it'll
way,
be bad.
because
Yeah.
All radio
I'm gonna have to
stations
watch
do
the
that.
TikToks
They're
and
like, hey,
see.
did you hear about the guy that's got the world's biggest mole? We've got him on the line right here. This is Jerry, the guy with the world's biggest mole.
Yeah.
Then they go to him. Worst interview you've ever heard.
Because guess what? They're famous for the biggest mole, or she's famous for something she was born with. She has an abnormally large mouth. The only thing interesting is how she's monetizing it now, which I guess is interesting.
That's new.
We'll talk to her because if you had this 20 years ago, you would just be in the either Guinness Book of World
A freak
Records
show.
and you would be working as a secretary at Allstate.
Well,
or
it's
whatever,
some,
you know what I'm saying?
in
Because-
some small backwoods towns. There are still the little carnivals.
yeah,
and,
but then you're traveling around with the circus and it's
well,
a
those
weird,
people are lost in time, right? They're like
so now she could just make daily videos, and I'm sure she does fetish videos of like putting pool
Like
table balls, cue
beer
balls in her
can
mouth.
in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Like people pay for that.
I think I'd want to see her put small things in her mouth to make her mouth look bigger.
No, it's already
Yeah.
too big.
No. Like I'd like to
Like a
have her-
sesame seed.
like put one of those small Corona beers, the Osalitos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she can
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Yeah,
She can do
because
it
it'll make her
sideways.
mouth look so much bigger.
Yeah.
You know, you start doing optical illusions with it. Is there anything that she'd have to buy that would be more expensive? You know, like when fat guys buy
I bet she goes through a lot of chapstick.
Tom and Dan shirts. You know, when Norm buys a Tom and Dan shirt, he has to pay at least $2 more per shirt than your average human because he's so chung.
You know who I feel the worst for now that I think about it? And
Bill Cosby.
Dan-
You've been going on and on all morning about how bad you feel for him.
Daniel, when you were a kid, you used to have
Mess.
the Guinness Book of World Records, right? The
Yeah.
paperback version of the two fat guys riding the scooter.
Sir, I had the hardback version.
I didn't even know
mother-
they made it in
My,
paperback.
my mother was a librarian,
Okay, yeah.
and I had the hardback version that had the two twins
Yeah.
that rode the mopeds and wore cowboy hats and overalls.
So, and if you're
They
a kid,
died.
if you're a kid of the '80s, you had no entertainment except for these books and
Yeah.
stuff. and, like,
Encyclopedias.
It was
Yeah,
a book,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a book of freaks.
Yeah. And so you'd look through the Guinness Book of World Records as a kid.
It was
and
that in Highlights magazine.
Yeah.
You'd look at it. I'd show my dad. I'd look at these fat guys on scooters.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh, they're so fat. You know, like that's what you did.
And then there was the tallest man ever recorded in the world, and it was a picture from like I don't know if
There's
this
a black and white photo of that man with the glass. I still
yeah,
remember
yeah,
him.
he had glasses. He was hunched
What?
over.
Yeah, he was hunched over,
and he was
then,
dressed like the Undertaker.
and then he was dressed like the Undertaker. Then they'd make him hold his own shoe up.
yeah.
They were like, hold your shoe up to show how grotesque you are.
And it was from like the 1930s or
Yeah.
whatever. And
he's
that
standing at like the entrance of like a carnival.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still can picture it.
and that man, like if he was born in
Oh.
2021 or whatever, like he could have made
be-
an insane amount of money
he'd be
through
TikTok
TikTok or the,
crazy.
like tallest guy in the world.
But that'll never happen again.
No, but in the 20s or 30s, he was just traveling with the circus or something.
That's a rough life.
People were throwing fire at him. They think he's a
Yeah,
monster.
they would
you know?
think he's a monster in some places.
Like screaming, "Get out of here, monster!" And he's hard, like his medical condition that made him giant. Like his
But women would
giantism.
throw themselves at you because there would be that weird. No, there'd be that weird thing about I've always
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to make love to a monster.
I
Right.
think that didn't happen until like basketball started or something. You know, like I
Well,
don't
then
know
he-
if people thought
Then he wouldn't know his strength, and something would anger him, and then he'd rip a girl's scalp off, and then they're chasing him to the river with a bunch of torches.
Yeah. Like I think back then people were wanting to kill the monster,
Yeah.
not to have like
Scared.
No, there was
like
always
interesting
that-
sex with him.
There was always that.
Interesting.
No, there was always that weird farmer's daughter that had a curiosity
Yeah.
the bigger.
Yeah, but you never can get to her because the people are constantly trying to, light
you away
fires
from
at
the village.
They're trying to burn you alive.
Yeah. With the advent of like.
So your only
bigger
way out
media.
was to get some photos made and put in this book.
Yeah, you're in the Guinness Book of World Records. In fact, I think they had him in there when he's already deceased or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
he was dead. And I remember as a kid thinking,
had
well, what
measurements.
did he do? I thought these were records. And then I remember my mom and dad explaining to me that some of the records were just like him. He just became the world's tallest.
Right.
And some are feats of strength, meaning
But you have to beat the record.
This guy
Yeah,
held
yeah,
his
yeah.
breath.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really understand why he was in there because I was like, well, he was just born that way. That's not a
Right.
record.
most records that you just happen upon yourself because you were
Yeah.
born that
That's
way.
an unfortunate
are
record.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
unfortunate record. Yeah.
Unfortunate record.
Yeah, yeah. Like the
Like,
there
hey,
should
look,
be,
this is the world's fattest smoking baby.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
There should be just a whole category in the Guinness Book of World Records just called unfortunate records, which is like it can't be anybody who grew their hair the longest or the fingernails because you caused that
Yeah.
or
It's gotta
any
be
skill.
it's got to be like largest
Tallest-
elephantitis of the scrotum.
yeah. Tallest, largest, shortest,
Biggest eyeball
smallest.
tumor.
Yeah.
Biggest mouth.
Yeah.
All the body parts,
Yeah.
the longest fingers.
Largest, who has the biggest teeth?
Yeah, biggest teeth.
Biggest teeth. That's a
biggest,
good one.
smallest.
No,
it's all
his are fake,
unfortunate.
though. His are,
So they got to be real.
I mean, I want
Yeah.
organic teeth. Who has the largest organic teeth?
By the way, the people out there screaming like, "Well, what about like largest, dork?"
That's a whale dog, right?
No, but it's unfortunate because it's the guy that's in India.
Yeah.
And
So there's a man from Croatia who he had one tooth that broke the world record at 1.46 inches.
Oh,
Inch
One-
tooth?
Yeah, because that's some radiation
Oh
or
my
something.
God. Jeez,
Yeah.
we had one,
That's unfortunate.
1 inch tooth.
It's
It's gross looking.
Yeah, of course it is. 'Cause
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks like a
unfortunate.
spike
It's an unfortunate
It looks
record.
like a spike.
Yeah, because he's grotesque.
because the root goes all the way
He
down.
is disgusting to look at. Dude. I'm sorry, but it's true.
How dare you?
It's true.
It
I'm
is
sorry.
true. And
He knows it's true.
He knows it's true. He doesn't look in the mirror and go like,
Yeah.
yeah, look at me.
Yeah, if you got a hoof or
Jason.
like the largest ear, it's all
Oh,
unfortunate.
Yeah. Biggest
Yeah,
nose.
it's
I
like
can't look
there
at
can't
this.
be a record that you're like, whoa, that's awesome. There's not one. Because seriously, what's awesome
about the big tooth?
Oh no, about any record that is like set from your body part or like some way you were born or something that's happened to you. There's no one that anybody looks at and they're like, that's awesome. I wish I had that, right?
No,
There's
you're
biggest or
right.
small. It's all biggest or smallest. You don't want to have the biggest or smallest of anything.
Yeah.
D?
Like
No, because
Yeah,
then
you're right,
because
you're
you're
right.
carrying it's a will you're like, I'm tortured.
Okay, I'll
Seriously,
go a
they're
step
not-
further. No,
They're like, it doesn't even work.
all of these people that are in here for we call it a record,
But it's unfortunate
But
record.
unfortunate record, and some people call unfortunate records deformities, right?
Yeah,
Or irregularities.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not
so
normal.
we're spinning it to
Right.
make it a
here's
positive
my
thing.
take. If you have, like, let's say you have the tiniest hands, you're the man with the tiniest hands.
Yeah.
When you were born, one of your parents went, ew! Like, that's a fact.
Oh yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah. He was mad.
Something.
I say he because it's usually the dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually
The dad's
dad.
mad.
Dads are not good. Dads
Yeah,
are bad.
the mother loves you no matter
Dads
what,
are on filters.
unconditional,
They just
yeah.
yell things. They're like, Ty, look at his hands. You know, they'll
yeah.
say things like that.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, his hand.
And you didn't have a good go at it through school. Like you were gonna make fun of the entire. Like the only positive thing is you made it in the Guinness Book of
Right. Of unfortunate records.
And
How many people turned it down because they didn't want to be put in the
Oh,
book?
I don't want
I
to
don't
be in
think-
there
you know
because
what I mean?
I don't
Yeah.
want to be
Do
known
you have
as
a choice?
best. Oh,
Yeah,
they can't. I
they
don't-
can't publish.
Maybe you can. Maybe there's some because.
So you're
So
saying, what
every-
if Guinness comes to you and says, we have the man with the tiniest hands, Tom Van here, and you're like, I don't need the attention. They're like, well, tough luck. You got the tiniest hands. Records
And
are
we're
records.
publishing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they can't put someone that doesn't have the tiniest hands because that's not the record. That's just the person that signed the consent. Right? Oh
my God, we're blowing
Hold
the
on,
lid
we
off of
gotta
this
ask
thing.
Mo. We gotta ask
We're
Mo.
I think-
blowing the lid off of this, man.
I think they can publish like people's.
Let's talk to Mr. Guinness.
I think they can do that, but then can they sell a book with other people's
That's what I'm
likenesses
saying.
in there without
because
them
some of them
agreeing?
are inching towards, like, you're celebrating something that isn't good for the
Right.
person.
And maybe they don't want that.
Yeah, they don't want the attention. Like the
Wow, we really got into a hole
the
here. that I-
heaviest human. Did they I mean, a lot of them, accept
Dying.
the Guinness. yeah, that's inevitable. But
No, I'm being serious. Like, I'm sure the heaviest human
Right.
isn't in the book. He's probably living somewhere horrible, sad, right?
Yeah, because he can't walk, and like it's a
So it's
unfortunate
not
scenario.
it's not top of mind for him to get a hold of Guinness and go like, "Well, put me in the book."
I think because Guinness puts in people that have already passed. So
Okay, Christine says you have to apply for the record.
Then it's not. It
But
shouldn't
na-
be called a record then.
Right.
No, but there was that tallest guy with the glasses and everything. That guy was in there. Did he apply for it in the 30s or whatever? Because
don't
in the
think
80s,
so.
that guy was dead for sure.
Oh yeah, I think he died
So
very
he-
early on.
Maybe, I mean, obviously some people have made money through this, so they're like, I want to be the world's tallest man. So
Well, like this lady that we're talking about, the big mouth.
I'll Guinness officially measure me or whatever. But you're right. Like a lot of those oddities, if a person doesn't sign the consent or doesn't want to be, they're not the truest record holder, right? There's someone out there that
Is
may
there
have turned it down.
Is there
It says they don't pay them.
is there a competitor to Guinness that
know.
says, "Look, you're not doing it right. We do it. Maybe we should start our own." That's like, "Look, when we show you the tiniest hands, they are actually the tiniest hands, not just the guy who wants to be tiny hands."
Well, they turned it into a business to even get Guinness. We thought about this because I was old Bushy one day wanted to have a Guinness Book of World Record for longest scooter jump, and he wanted to pay for them to come out. And it's like $30,000 for the fly him out from England, and then
put 'em up.
it's like some insane amount. So it's a business. Anyway, interesting.
Interesting. Next email.
Okay. That took a weird turn.
Yeah, that was good though.
Abused merchandise. Hey everyone, BDM from DeLand, but work and live in LA now. Just wanted to give your merch guy a huge thumbs up. Your merch a huge thumbs up. This Touching Tips hat has been my favorite hat I've ever worn. Since the day my wife got it for me, I've worn it every day at work. I build sets for TV and movies at the major studios out here. I've become known as the tip toucher in my union. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing, but they continue to hire me. Anyway, I was wondering if you've ever got pics of your merchandise with as much use and abuse as I've put this hat
Look at
through.
this hat, man.
This is a solid 2 years of going to work hungover and regretting it, but your shows always push me through.
Yeah, look at this hat. It is just destroyed.
This used to
It's
be a
great.
black hat.
It's great. That's the only reason I put that in there is just
Still a hat though.
yeah. I put this in here to give, and we're gonna talk to these guys this week and see if we can get some new hats. But that's a dome
He
hat.
says he hand washes the hat weekly. The
Yeah.
stains just refuse to come out. Not like I've just worn this every day for 2 years straight without cleaning it once or twice. I'm no Drunky the Bear.
It's a dome hat.
Why would you say
they're a local company out of Jacksonville.
nothing to you.
DOME Dome, and we're going to be working with them again. We love those guys, and
Yeah.
they make a good product.
And I think the word is out, and other companies have started doing this because now I see with the giveaways and like other companies producing shirts, like
That they're good stuff.
Hourglass Brewing. We were there. It'll be a ACT. You probably heard this already.
Yeah.
So in the future, but anyway. They have all nice quality products, and it's like it makes sense.
I saw you peeping that merch over there.
Yeah, well,
they got good stuff.
if you put out quality stuff, people will wear it.
Their
Like,
pop sockets
Wait a minute. If
actually
you
come
put
from
out
the
quality stuff, people will buy it?
Yeah.
well, not even buy it. And I know the margins, listen, it's more expensive, so we don't make as much. But people wear it way more often. So we're getting the marketing from it. And like I remember, me and Daniel came from a time in radio where like these giant corporations would print free T-shirts, and they'd print 10,000 Gildan potato sacks with a black and white Corona on it or whatever
Yeah,
else.
it wasn't even black and white. They do something that I always found they would use. This is true. They would use the ink that they had surplus of, which always happens to be yellow. So they'd print bright yellow on a white shirt, which you can't read at all. So it's really a waste for everybody.
Yeah, and then they'd give them
wasted
out
textile.
and then they'd be like, this marketing Corona. Like, no, it isn't. Nobody's wearing that crap.
No.
People are
You can't even
washing
read it.
their cars. Yeah, like no one wants to wear that. It's not comfortable. When they look at it in their drawer, guess what? They have T-shirts. We're not in Somalia where there's a lack of clothing. I don't think anybody that I've ever met has been like, I can't get a hold of a T-shirt. Like, have you ever heard that? Like,
Yeah.
try giving a homeless guy a T-shirt. He's like, I don't want
You
this
don't want a
garbage.
t-shirt.
Like,
You can't smoke a T-shirt.
Well,
He needs a blanket.
It's like there's tons of T-shirts, so make it the best quality possible if you want people to wear it.
Good call. Oh, this Guinness Book of World Records thing is still rattling my brains
We'll have to sit on that.
because I'm still thinking about that guy with the longest nails.
Oh, that's the gross.
And it's always
He wanted to though.
It's always
Yeah.
like well, maybe it's not always, but is that something that is revered in Indian culture. Wasn't he an Indian man?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, I think not like there may be some part of like Buddhism or something. Hinduism where it's like you don't want to cut anything of your body produces.
So long as you've ever had your nails.
I will tear them off or rip them off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I rip mine off too. Yeah. Anxiety.
I just do it because it bothers me if I have a long, it looks gross.
It does look gross.
And they get dirty, and then it's like if you have long nails that are slightly dirty, it's like, oh, come on.
No, you know what I will say I like? I like it when girls get the cat nails.
Yeah.
The sharp ones. Where they sharpen them to a point. I like that. I find that very sexy. I find that very sexy.
I don't even understand,
it turns me on.
It's good for head scratching.
The long nails, like that. I find nothing
like
sexy about it.
When my wife does her nails, there's something about her taking care of her hands.
That's a fetish. That's
a
weird thing.
It's a thing.
That's a registers as a 0.
Put that in big mouth. Yeah, that's my big mouth. Yeah, I like
long nails.
Not long, but I just like them looking nice. You know, like I like them freshly painted. Yeah, sexy.
It seems like such an inconvenience because I've seen people with
pain in the ass.
Super long nails and they have to do everything differently because they can't hold a pen the right way or they can't use a register. You know,
one of the ladies at my doctor's office has really, really extravagant. Like she takes like a ton of pride in her nails, but not just painting and clipping. These are like. They're like cartoons.
They're airbrushed,
they're crazy. And she types with just like almost like the flat part of her fingers so she doesn't ruin them. And she does a great job. I don't know how she's adapted.
Yeah.
She's fine.
It just seems hard to do that. And then it's like...
It's like me walking without pants on trying to get a roll of toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if that's what it feels like. It feels like you're having to do something like...
It's weird to me because I'm like... Who are you doing it because you enjoy it yourself? Are you doing it because it's impressive that you put that much time and effort into it?
I like the way it looks.
Oh yeah, like is it because you like that? It's never crossed my mind that you liked having long nails with the Disney characters.
Sometimes they put like loops.
Jewelry,
and stuff, and I think it's really, really cool. I think it's relaxing too to get it done. Feels good.
It falls into the same category as skull rings and like all this extra bric-a-brac that you put on your body. I just don't understand the hassle.
You sound like an old man.
I do.
I have an email follow up about.
rings.
Remember the strip club email we had the other day with the introvert first time going to a strip club? We have an update. I'm the guy who wrote about going to the strip club for the first time and wanted to give you a follow-up. I can honestly say that I have no inclination to go back to another strip club. I felt embarrassed for everyone involved. The guys I was with, the girls dancing, and even myself for being there. Between overpaying for a bottle of Crown and the VIP lounge to watching these girls dance while dead behind the eyes, I did not see the appeal. I'm not shaming anyone. If you like it, that's fine, but I got nothing from it. Was it great seeing these hot girls dancing? Of course. But then when their time was up...
Wait, then you just contradicted your last statement, which is I got nothing out of it.
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
And then you go home and you hammer hand to a fantasy of them banging you in the back room.
You're overthinking it.
Yeah. What are you... Like you watch porno, right? This is just a version of that.
Wait, go back and read this. He's like, I got nothing out of it. Was seeing these girls dance great? Yes, it was. Well, hold on a second.
But then, when their time was up, they would shut down all emotion like a robot, pick up their dollar bills, and go sit in the corner until it was their turn again.
What did you want him to do? You want the girlfriend experience?
Yeah, sounds like it. It felt all so fake and weird, like I couldn't lose myself in the atmosphere.
It is fake and weird.
I just kept thinking about the business side of things. One guy I was with pulled up a chair to the dancing cage like he was at a campfire and was staring so intently.
That's the funniest line of the email. Said the guy put the chair like a campfire and started staring into it.
He was staring so intently, he looked like he was inspecting her for moles. Two other guys were the, hey, you're the prettiest ones here, guys, and got taken for hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Sir, they were not taken for hundreds of dollars.
They gave hundreds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
you lean into that when you're like, you're the prettiest one here. She goes, yes, I know. Oh, thank you. Must say that to all the girls. You give her a hundo. They know.
They lap
it's
dance,
the
they
dance.
grind on
it's
you.
Literally, it's like line dancing.
Then you go home and hammer hand and you bang your old lady.
Okay.
Yeah, you close your eyes.
And the bachelor
pretend.
who talked all this game sat there the whole time and left early. Maybe it's the fact that I have daughters, but the whole thing felt off to me. Despite my first email, I went in with an open mind and tried to get the full experience. I still drank and had a good time, but it's definitely not at the top of my list to go to again. I'm sure this is going to come off like I'm no fun, but oh well, just wanted to give you guys the follow-up.
That's the problem. You went in with an open mind. It's got to be closed.
Close that mind, buddy.
It's got to be a horny mind only.
Close your heart.
Close everything else but the horny part. Because everything else is horrible about it. Like the situation, the environment, the customers, everything else. You got to go in there with your own horniness and nothing else. Closed mind horniness.
Open mind is what you do for marriage counseling. Right?
Yeah.
You go in with an open mind. I want to fix this. Anything's on the table. I'll do whatever it takes to save my relationship.
It's your last chance to be a creepo. And that's really it.
Well, but the girls are basically in there. I mean, they know how you're going to behave, and as long as you adhere to the rules, you're not grabbing people, groping people. You're not supposed to do that. That's assault.
Yeah,
but
you give them money, they do this. No, like you don't feel good about yourself. They don't feel good about it. But you're getting this experience that you know. Let's face it, you're not getting it from your wife.
My God. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm probably impervious to that. Like, I leave, I feel like I just left the Planet Fitness.
Listen, you're...
I grabbed a handful of Tootsie Rolls and walked to my car.
Yeah, you're a dude. You've been married for a while. You have, you got some kids. And what other chance are you going to have a 22-year-old girl give you a lap dance?
I just got grossed out.
Yeah, I know.
That's why they do it.
You got grossed out because Tom's laying down the honesty, and you can't handle it.
He also leaned back in his chair you got a 22-year-old girl to dance for.
Guess what? Zero chance. You have, besides from strip club, zero. Your chances are zero from that ever happening to you, ever.
He did lean back.
Seth,
he did lean back like an old...
Seth is ripped rich.
So that's why I said unless you're Seth.
Yeah.
Tom leaned back like an old general that is shown... like he's charged into battle so many times that he's going into battle currently and still putting his gear on as people are running in, and he's not even shaking at all because he's seen it. He's been to the front lines and done it.
Yeah. That's the only chance you have of that ever happening to you. And guess what? You'll pay a couple $100.
Yeah.
And then you'll get your fill of that, and then you go about your days. Now, some people they get too much.
This guy's overthinking. Maybe it's because I have daughters. That didn't belong in the email or in your brain. That's a closed mind scenario.
Yeah, you go in there to pay for something disgusting, and not feel good about yourself.
Yes,
but you have it in your memory. You're like, that was pretty good.
Like who? Don't start thinking about your family or your Mima or what are you doing? You don't do it. That's what Tom means by closed mind.
Oh, you guys say I'm not fun. This guy's not fun. I went in there and I thought,
said he probably would say I'm no fun.
What if she was my daughter? Who thinks like that?
Thinks like that?
What are you talking about?
We used to have people that would say that all the time. I can't look at porno. I can't do this. My sexuality's dried up because I have children. That didn't happen with me.
Don't even look at them like humans. I'm sorry.
Oh my
God. You have to
like
put out your
objects.
mind.
You have to look at it.
I mean,
it's one step
above
a toll booth.
Like objects,
it's a toll booth.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a business transaction.
Here's the thing: I'm sure the girls that work there are not thinking like, "I'm tired of my customers objectifying me." Like they
know what they sign up for.
And they're not thinking about their families.
They're not going to be open for long, bro. They're going to be closed because this whole thing is crazy that it still happens, but it still does. So get it while it lasts.
Get it while the get's good.
Get it while you can.
It's going out of business.
It absolutely is. We got time for one more, maybe, or let's plug something. We don't have time. Save those. All right. TomandDan.com for all things Tom and Dan.
New merch is out.
New merch.
Tons of new merch. We've got hot tub and mini fridge, sleeveless shirts.
The hats are up there.
Hats,
yep.
Girl shirts, the deepest V we could find.
Oh yeah, it's deep.
And we've got brand new Tom and Dan shirts on there.
My favorite. I really love the quality of that Tom and Dan vibe shirt. I love that shirt.
Oh, and if you order a hot tub and mini fridge shirt, you will get a free promo frisbee The cheapest we could buy
yeah.
from straight factory. I mean,
leave it on your counter for about 24 hours
or
wipe it down.
It's so thin.
Yeah.
It's the thinnest plastic.
If you throw it, it will disintegrate in the air, midair.
You get one of those for free and a hot tub and mini fridge bumper sticker.
Indeed, guys. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow.